Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
What are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague and had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it, not to mention the fact that you're talking to a podcast. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified?
He improvised all of that, right? Or at least some of it.
I think
amazing.
he improvised
He
a lot.
improvised the Juilliard Harvard thing for sure.
It's so good.
Did he go to Juilliard? Harvard?
No.
Did he go to both?
Beetlejuice did.
But did,
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm cracking out the notebook
Oh,
right
for
now.
fuck's sake.
Because here's the thing.
Wait, can I just, before you go into Here's the Thing, can I tell you the quote that you should have done?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you either should have just done podcast. Hilarious already.
Would have been funny. I considered it.
Pretty good. You should have done, I'm only truly happy when I'm podcasting.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And it also
Because don't you guys agree? Don't you love?
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
now I
go.
want to explain. I've taken out my notebook. It's my Incredibles 2 notebook.
It's beautiful.
Meant for children. It actually says
We're on the
sketchbook
first
on the
page.
side. We're cracking it open, starting it right now. We need to set out clear rules because if any of us say the B word more than 3 times, more than 2 times in this episode,
Yeah.
we're fucked. So David has 1 tally.
Yeah, okay, but as we agreed, there are 3 different uses of the word.
Correct. You're allowed to say the title of this movie twice.
Yes,
You're allowed to refer the character by name twice.
correct.
And you're allowed to talk about the animated series twice.
Correct.
But you
And-
have to say the title like as if it's in italics.
No,
Like,
no.
are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would like to hear what that sounds like from you, though.
No. Because I already said the character's name once. I can only do it so many times. We can all do it 2 times though.
Yes.
The movie makes it clear like it's the same person has to say it.
Now, our guests, we're both performers, so we understand, like, you got to really make the distinctions clear. You got to add some
course.
spin on the line readings, make it italicized. David is a man of words. You know what I'm saying? He's a man of letters. He doesn't
I don't
understand,
know.
and we might have to, like, get into some sort of, like, I don't know what the term I'm looking for is. I mean, I don't know how to figure out when you're using which. You got to make your
why I'm-
usages very clear. If you're not
Also,
gonna
I can
perform them-
refer to the star in the sky as many times as I like.
That is not true. You can only refer to it twice.
It's different.
Title, animated.
Honestly,
character.
here's
this
another
is my
thing I want to.
complicated spreadsheet.
Another thing
Yeah.
I want to say though.
Yeah.
I think we can refer to the animated series as many times as we want because, like, if we summon that thing, like, I don't know,
What
we don't
about
have
the
like a lot to
upcoming
fear.
musical?
Musical counts for 2.
You know what? Yes. Okay. So it's everyone gets a grand total of 8.
8.
But you can't say I want to only use 1 musical and 3 titles. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you just can't do more than 2. Hello, everybody. My name is Griffin Newman.
I'm David Sims.
This is a podcast called Blank Check with Griffin and David. It's a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their career, given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. And sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes they bounce baby.
Yep.
Wow.
A mini-series about...
To be in the room.
To see it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. It's a mini-series about the film...
This is live, by the way.
This
everyone.
is live.
Yes.
Every time you download this episode, we have to run back to the studio and do it again. I don't know why we agreed to these terms. Is miniseries on the films of Tim Burton. It's called Podward Scissorcast,
Yep.
and I'm going to use one right here.
We could have done Poddle Juice.
I like that.
You're towing a
so
dangerous
gross.
line.
It's a dangerous line, but I'm towing it.
You're towing it. The title of the film that we're talking about today is Beetlejuice.
All right,
Wow.
so you're crossing
One
one
and
of
my-
yours
Oh.
off.
Yep. Okay.
See, here's the star, Ben. It's a star. It's part of the Orion system.
You don't know about stars?
Orion constellation, I should
Ben's
say.
more of a moon guy. Producer Ben, the Ben Deucer, the poet laureate, the Haas.
It's one of the
Mr.
largest
Positive,
stars
Positive,
visible to the naked eye.
Tiebreaker, Fartmaster, Fuckmaster,
You can join
Fart
in.
Detective.
I am.
Okay.
Is it-
It's
Fine,
so
fine,
big
fine.
that if we put it in our solar system, it would consume all of the like small planets, like all the way to Mars. Like that's how large it is. It would take up all of that space. It's a red giant.
Fennel, he's not the
Oh, I
fuck
love
master.
red
No, no,
giants.
no.
It's not Professor Crispy. He's the fuckmaster.
Red. I'm sorry. A red super giant.
Kylo Ben, producer Ben Kenobi, Ben
better.
Ben Save anything. Alien Ben
with the dollar sign. I'm into.
Right, and it's mass. I can't even do this math.
Ben 19, the Funnel Maker.
Don't forget.
Benglish, Mr. Ben Credible, Robo Haas, and Eat Drink Ben Hosley. Oh, and then the other one, the Hosliday.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Say that again.
The Hosliday.
The Hosliday.
That is what I would say
is sweaty.
Is sweaty. Yeah.
A little sweaty. A little perspiration on the brow there.
Glossy, my friend.
Our guest today, who has spoken before, we've introduced her because that's what you're supposed to do. Because you are one of the most important supporters in the history of this podcast.
Like a woman, all I do is support men.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just kidding.
Booster.
Yes, it's true. I'm the reason for the season.
You're the reason for the season.
That you're doing shows.
You're our Santa Claus.
Sure.
Ho, ho, ho.
Because you're an amazing performer and podcaster in your own right. Classroom crush.
That's
Classroom
what I do.
Cluck.
No, truly, I don't know how to say the name of my own podcast either.
Classroom
which is so
Cluck
fun.
is the name of the show.
I'm like, do I have a lisp? Cool.
Classroom Crush is your podcast.
It is.
But you used to write for Podmas.
I was a Podmas girl.
That's true.
Living in a high-tech digital world.
You were a teen reporter pretending to be an adult.
Yes, I was a liar.
A liar
and broke
and
laws. Probably. Yes, I did.
And you got us a lot of recognition. You pushed us onto a larger stage.
You know, it was my pleasure, and I still do it. Do you know that I was literally at a bar last night, like literally on a date, which is disgusting.
Hey, congratulations.
To be on a date. It's the second one I've been on since I got here. And
since you got to New York?
Yeah.
Because you're usually all about dating.
Oh, but
No, I'm all about dating.
But hey, come on.
Yeah.
Notorious hoe, David Sims.
Thank you.
Yeah. There was this guy next to me at the bar who was not my date.
Okay.
He was an older married man, which is my demo. They love me.
Cool.
Somehow started to be in this conversation. Somehow this came up, and then here I was explaining what blank check is to the people. So I still do it every day.
We're going to see that,
Thank you.
that Rebecca Bulnes bump.
Yeah,
The
you're
Bulnes
going to
bump.
see the Bulnes bump for sure.
David, remind me, was your one usage for the character or for the title? Okay, I just want to.
He went to Juilliard and Harvard Business School
Yes.
or wherever he says he went. Yeah.
Okay, so my spreadsheet is officially done now. So let's talk about Beej himself, because that's my workaround.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and register a formal objection. Ben, could you note it in the log to referring to the character as Beej?
And I will refer to him as my BF.
That's fine.
Because I like him.
That's fine. That's acceptable. But Ben, can you note that in the log?
This
This is
episode's
a
gonna
new
have
bit
a
I
lot
want to
of-
do where
a lot of
I tell you to
arbitration.
note things in the log.
I like it.
All right, hold on. Okay. And it's noted.
Because
It is
like
long.
in Star Trek, it's always like the captain's like, blow up that spaceship, and the other person's like, I object. And the captain's like, I'll note it in the log. That's it. That's the whole conversation.
Yeah, I'll go back and check that log after I blow up the spaceship.
Anyway.
That feels like the formal Star Trek version of take a picture will last longer.
Oh boy. So yeah, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I have nothing to add about this.
Okay,
Star
which
Trek
one
thing.
was that?
No,
Title
nothing.
Okay.
of the animated series. Let's
Fuck!
talk about
Wow,
it.
okay,
I
go
watched
on.
it a lot when I was a kid. I'm sure I watched it before I saw this movie.
Same here.
Truly have never seen a clip.
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope.
I guess
And
you're.
will I? No.
Because it's not a series that lasted in the zeitgeist. It was an early 90s thing.
Correct, but
Played on Cartoon
Not
Network
mid-nineties?
or what have
that
you.
was, that was the
Jonah
big
Hill?
thing. I think both Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon played it at points in time in reruns. So it only ran for like maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah, 89 to 91.
But
On
it was
Fox Kids and ABC.
Oh, it
ABC and
moved.
then Fox Kids.
interesting. But then it was in rotation a lot. Like I remember it being the show that would come on after the show I actually wanted to watch. If it was like Rugrats was at like 6:30, then at 7:00 you might be getting a little Beej.
You might be getting a little beach. You're using it again.
Yes.
Even though the strong
in
protest.
the log.
It in the log.
It's in the
It's in the log.
Hey,
What
Ben,
up?
is it in the log?
Wrote it down.
And so when I saw this TV show, I was like, oh, BJ
Uh-huh.
is about like this kooky ghost guy who's best friends with like a teenage girl, and they have adventures
That's the
together.
whole
He is
premise.
a kooky guy.
And then so when I eventually come around to seeing the movie, which is probably years later, because I think the movie was scary. Like
A little spooky, a little spooky.
I think it was like
kooky. yeah.
I want to look up its rating. Like in Britain, I think it was
PG.
kind of not in is it was it a PG?
That's the whole thing. Is that it's like
violent.
It's before
Is
the
it?
PG-13 era of like that it was a PG movie that had fuck in it. The word fuck.
Yeah,
and that was
he
like
gets one fuck in
escandalo.
there. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're right. It's a PG. That's insane.
Crazy.
which is so crazy.
It should probably not be a PG.
No.
So now because of the fuck, because of all the head
Yeah, that
pulling
too.
and
it's
gore.
a morbid movie.
Yeah, right. So whenever I didn't realize that Beetlejuice,
Oh boy,
that's the character. So I'm
Yep.
done on the character.
correct.
Was not all over the thing. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I was like, who is Alec Baldwin doing here?
Right, because the format of the cartoon is the Maitlands are not in it at all.
Right.
It is Lydia,
Fuck them, they're
her
dumb.
parents, and then the ghost with the most, Beej himself.
It's my favorite. He's the ghost with the most, babe.
And
I love that.
it's either like within an episode, like she has a problem at school and he'll use some supernatural ghost magic to help her, or he asks her to come with him to the land of the dead. And a lot of it is Lydia as this living girl surrounded by like the shrunken head guy.
Right.
There are a lot of other new original
pals.
characters.
She had sort of like a poncho. She would always be wearing this sort of cape thingy.
Yes.
She's goth.
Yeah, she was a cop.
Beej himself wears the striped suit all the time exclusively.
Right.
It's good look.
And he's kind of like put upon. Like he's like he's
"Ah."
not a little stinker. Like he's like a ghost with a lot of abilities, but he's always like, I got this problem. I think Dan Castellaneta
relatable.
voices him, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
It's, well, let me look it up. Here we go. Burton did produce it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. B is voiced by Stephen Ouimet.
Oh wow.
Umiet, Stephen Umiet.
He is Canadian.
Stephen Ouimet.
Graduate of the University of Windsor, of course. We know
Brad.
him well as the voice of Angel in the X-Men
okay,
animated
okay.
series.
But yes, it's very much a buddy show. I had seen that for years before seeing the movie, and saw the movie and was like, God, I'm already like an hour and a half in. Beej
Where's
just
my
barely
guy?
entered. When are they going to become best friends and go on adventures together?
Mm-mm.
It is a weird thing culturally. A lot of people I've talked to of our age have said they had the exact same relationship.
Because we're just a little younger. This movie came out in 1988.
Mhm.
We were little babies. You maybe not have even existed yet.
-1 years old.
Right. And it was a little baby. Ben was a little baby.
I saw the movie though.
When you were like 3 years old or whatever?
Yeah.
In theaters?
Really?
I remember being really young.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to say this right now. Beetlejuice and I are fucking best friends.
Okay. And you
Character,
Yep.
title.
The character.
Are you friends
Musical?
with the movie?
He's talking about his friend.
Yeah.
Talking about
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah.
And my cousin, who's older, showed me this movie when he was babysitting me one time. I was definitely really young, but I was just like instantly
It's always
obsessed.
the cousin.
Yeah.
It is always the
Freak.
cousin.
Yeah.
Freaky little cousin.
And I remember it distinctively because this is like when I was like, oh, I can fuck with my parents constantly and
Right.
be like a monster. And
Oh,
I
that's
think-
what that was your takeaway?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to be like Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
That's it.
Okay.
You're out of character
Yeah,
names.
done.
there.
Wow, I'm really good at this.
I'm not.
I have
So do you feel like Rebecca's the only one with a clean slate. Do you feel like Beej was the first character to like encourage you to be a little stinker? Like you talk a lot about like Clifford and like that sort of
Right.
like antagonistic relationship with your
Famously.
parents.
Once you drink the juice,
Yeah.
there's no
Go
turning
on.
back.
Yeah.
And by that you mean cum. His cum.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
exactly
a
what I
Bechdel
meant.
cast shout out?
Yes.
Are we going for? Yeah. All right.
Comes dry scabs. I want to be on the record. I
Yeah.
think he comes dry
All
scabs.
right.
Mm.
They're chewy, but they're good.
Oh, it's interesting. Oh, everyone deleted the episode. That's it.
Interesting.
Okay. 0 listeners at this point going forward.
Listen, if you think
Yeah.
listen, we've got a lot of things that are gonna happen for me personally.
This is gonna be a very sexual episode. Is
Yes.
What you're saying.
So just hey listeners, just hope you're alone in a room because you might just get real horned up by this podcast.
All right.
This has
You
been
know,
this
you
has
don't
been a
want to
horn
be
warning.
on
It's a
public
horn
transit. You're
Yeah.
just like, whoa, what's
Yeah, we're blowing
happening?
our horny horn
Yeah.
to let people know this episode's gonna get thirsty. So Tim Burton makes Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Surprising
Does well.
sleeper hit. They immediately offer him
Oh, I saw this on a porch.
There was another porch movie?
Definitely a porch film.
Wow.
Wow. The
Maybe
porch
a den.
cannon.
If I
There's a
think-
porch in the film.
That's
True.
There is.
A weird
Nice
one.
wraparound porch.
Yeah.
It might have been a den, but I want to say it's a porch.
Okay.
I mean, that's cool. Very different things. Den and porch. For example, one
Architecturally.
inside, one out.
Yes.
I remember it being cold. The floor.
Put on a jacket. Put on a sweater, please, young Ben.
One day Ben's gonna at the Metrograph have his porch retrospective movies I saw on porch.
No, it'll be at like MoMA and they'll replicate the porch.
Right, you'll get to experience the cold porch.
Right, it has
It'll
to
be
be like an
immersive.
installation. Yeah.
Immersive theater.
There'll be like a ditch man nearby shouting in his ditch language. Ben's first language was ditch language.
Oh, please, I'm aware.
It took a while for
You get
me
him
to
drunk
learn.
enough, he regresses back to it.
Yeah, it comes out.
Ding dong. Ding
Oh,
dong,
answer
ding
the
dong.
door. Hey, come on.
Okay. There's nothing
Oh my god. Some kind of
Floating sheets.
ghoul.
Floating sheets.
They're
It's
floating
usually a
sheets.
ghost. I
But
mean,
look, feel these. These are like kind of like buttery, like hotel grade sheets.
oh yeah, these are really soft. These are luxe sheets.
Griffin, it's me, Adam Maitland. And it's me, Barbara Maitland. Oh my God, David, it's the Maitlands from Beetlejuice, but they've upgraded their sheets.
I could have sworn that was Albert Brooks.
It's not, it's me, Adam Maitland.
Well, they
And this is a very accurate impression of Barbara Maitland.
sure, Gina Davis.
Yes.
Well, you guys love your sheets. Sheets very important to the experience for you guys,
We do. We tried to use them to scare the Dietzes, but it didn't work.
and it seems like you've upgraded.
That was the problem. The Dietzes are elitists. We needed
Oh,
some fancy sheets.
they wouldn't even look at the cheap sheet.
The thread count was too low.
But the thing about Brooklinen is it's 5-star hotel sheets, but they're inexpensive because they work directly with manufacturers.
That's why we don't feel so bad about cutting the holes in them.
Right. There's no
Barbara.
middleman. You can get quality sheets that are affordable, and they got 20 colors and patterns, more than 20.
You don't have to make a deal with
You
some
guys have
sort of
mixed and
Beetlejuice
matched.
figure. Adam, please watch
You
yourself.
only said it one time.
I only said Beetlejuice once.
Oh,
Adam?
boy.
Adam?
Well, Adam,
Yes.
my Brooklinen sheets are the best, most comfortable sheets I've ever slept on. So now it's
Humble
time for
brag.
your upgrade. Brooklinen.com is giving an exclusive offer for just my listeners. You can get $20 off and free shipping when you use promo code CHECK at brooklinen.com. What do you think of that?
That sounds like a great deal. Do you mind if I just say something into the mic here
Yeah.
for a second?
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Adam Maitland, and here's the thing. My guest today. Wait, no, you can't.
You can't
hijack
host a
the
podcast
episode.
in the middle of this
We're
ad.
doing an ad.
God, these ghosts. Brooklinen is so confident in their product that all their sheets, comforters, and towels come with a lifetime warranty. The only way to get $20 off and free shipping is to use promo code CHECK at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Promo code CHECK. $20 off.
There's no reason to be scared sheetless by these prices, huh? I get it.
They rejected that title.
Yeah, and they have drawn a chalk door on the wall. And
Oh,
now,
it's rumbling.
why didn't they use the first door that they entered from?
That's the ding dong door.
Oh, okay. So Tim Burton makes Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's a big hit. Warner's is in on him. David Geffen is in on him.
Mm.
And they go, why make another Pee-wee movie? We're definitely making another Pee-wee movie. He's doing his TV show, but we want another one of these. But he had fallen in love with the script that Warner Brothers and Geffen had. That at the time was, of course, called House Ghosts.
House Ghost is my favorite thing that's ever been written in words.
They should have called this movie House Ghost.
A very clear, high-concept premise.
There's going to be some ghosts in that house.
Right.
What if there were ghosts in a house?
A couple dies. They come back to their home. They want to stay
They
there.
like the house,
Right.
so they decide to be house ghosts.
New family moves in, and the ghost can't figure out how to scare the people out of it.
Was Mr. B in the House Ghost script?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I think is incredible is no one describes the plot of this film that way. But that is the plot of this movie.
Of course it's the plot
And
of
then
this
Mr.
movie.
B is one element of it.
Sure.
But
I
they-
mean, like, he's like the seventh lead,
Correct.
if that.
He gets the and.
Yeah, he gets he deserves the and. He's a very and. He's the epitome of an and.
Right. But in the process of like developing this film, they're like, well, the title's bad.
No, it's not the most arresting. I like House Ghosts.
Right, but so they kept on going through different titles. Scared Sheetless was one of them.
Well, isn't Scared Sheetless the one that Burton suggested like as a joke, and they were like, yeah, right. That's good.
It's like such like an older like white person thing to be like, hey, wait a minute, now that's funny.
Yes,
it's like get a life.
Until they finally came up with calling the movie by the name of this character, who then becomes the title character. But he's kind of like Jaws, you know?
Sure.
Like the movie's not about him, it's about the looming threat of him.
Sort of.
By giving him the title position, the movie really tips its hand to making him feel so epic.
I mean, he is freaking epic though, bro.
But that's what I find so fascinating about it, because it's like placing him as the title character mythologizes him before you even start watching the movie.
Yeah.
And then he's like prime position on the poster.
Sure.
And you're like, give me that guy. Give me that crusty guy.
Right.
I got to find him.
But of course he reads the script and he goes, I know exactly who I want to play the ghost with the most himself, Sammy Davis Jr.
Yep.
Duh.
Fights very hard for it. Warner Brothers is like, are you fucking
How
kidding
old
me?
is Sammy Davis Jr. at this point?
70?
Dead.
And not dead.
Because he's a ghost. And they're like, okay, I got an
Could have
idea.
saved money on effects and makeup.
He's
That's
only
disrespectful.
60.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Yeah, because
that's
he
so
died
mean.
at the age of 64.
Jeez.
He was an old 64.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I take it back.
Yeah.
Joke is bad.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I love Sammy Davis Jr.
You like Sammy?
Of course.
Tell me a favorite Sammy tune.
A favorite Sammy tune?
Oh,
No, I like
God.
him in like
Okay.
Ocean's 11 and like
okay.
on the roasts and shit. He's always talking about how Jewish he is.
That's true.
That's why I love Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay, I thought you were a fan of the music.
That we're going to get some crooning from
I
David.
don't know if I
That's
could name like
A single?
song of his, because he was more like he would sing like the standards, right? Like he would come out and he'd hit you with the classics. I don't know.
What kind of classics, David? Give us a little taste. Just going to try to get David to sing.
Oh, I'm not gonna sing. That's what you're going for. You're in trouble.
I just found something insane here in the IMDb trivia.
Sure.
Ahem. The original script was a horror film
Oh, yeah.
and featured Mr. Goose, my edit there,
Sure.
as a winged reptilian demon who transformed into a small Middle Eastern man to interact with the Maitlands and the Dietzes.
Yes, I knew the small Middle Eastern man detail.
Yeah.
Like it was going to be like a guy with a fez.
Well, hold on. We're just starting the roller coaster ride here. Lydia was a minor character, with her 6-year-old sister Kathy being the Dietz child able to see the Maitlands. Mr. Goose's goal was to kill the Dietzes rather than frighten them away, and included sequences where he mauled Kathy in the form of a rabid squirrel and tried to
Rape
Lydia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got that vibe
He's Leatherface.
in this
Okay,
movie.
I mean,
he's
can
predatory.
Can I say that literally his introduction, not including the commercial, like when we really see him interact with someone for the first time, is him like fully sexually assaulted.
Oh,
He's like,
yes.
cool, surprise kiss.
Yes.
You know?
But Michael McDowell, one of the writers of, he's like a pulp horror writer.
Yeah.
So he probably wrote kind of a fucked up thing.
And you're like, that is a good high concept hook, is like, okay, so it's a movie from the perspective of the ghosts, kind of trying to
Can I say
scare the
something
people
real
out of
quick?
the house. Yeah.
The goose with the moose, is that anything?
Yeah, no, that's definitely something. That is 100% something.
Okay, I'm glad I
Okay.
said it. Go on.
I'm still weighing whether that's something.
I'm gonna put that in the log.
Yeah, put that right in the log.
But I think it is
Use
one
the
of,
highlighter too. Yeah.
it's one of these weird scripts that like went through the ringer and kept on getting transformed, and oftentimes that like is a nightmare in Hollywood, where like there's the famous story of like the guy sells what was it called, Nottingham, for like $2 million to Universal. That was like
Is that a Robin Hood thing?
right, and it was like, here's the premise: it's a movie from the perspective of the sheriff of Nottingham,
Right.
and Robin Hood's the bad guy. And Hollywood went crazy for this fucking script. And they were like, here's the thing, Christian Bale's going to play Robin Hood.
I vaguely
Russell
remember this,
Crowe's
right.
going to play the sheriff of Nottingham. Then Russell Crowe got Ridley Scott to sign on. Then they started rewriting the script, and they were like, actually, what if it's just Robin Hood?
Right. Because I think Ridley Scott came aboard is like, let's just do like a war movie. Like, let's just do
Right.
Robin Hood. Right.
But it was like
I love war.
they had spent like
Yeah,
$2
he
million
loves war.
for a concept that they completely threw out.
Well, and also because it's like, That's not worth $2 million. Someone just like make a movie about the villain instead of the hero.
Sure, but it's just one
That's
of those.
pretty twisted.
Apparently,
It is a little twisted.
There was a full draft that I think was supposed to be good. You know, it's
Sure,
not
that's
just-
fine.
They
Yeah,
didn't just pay for the concept.
It'd be better though if someone just came in and was like, Robin Hood always fights the Sheriff of Nottingham. We all know this. Slide, you know. Like,
What if he's a little stinker? I'm going to break the record for how many times I can say little stinker in one episode.
imagine you're the Sheriff of Nottingham. You're trying to be a sheriff. You're collecting the taxes.
Yeah.
You're running a municipality here.
got a
And
job
this
to do.
jerk Robin Hood living in a forest
You're just a
keeps
workaday
coming
Joe.
in raiding.
Clocking in, clocking out, 9 to 5, trying to take from the poor, give to the rich, as you do.
Look, it's a broken system, but systems have to be respected.
And have you seen this guy, Little John? He's not even little.
He's gigantic.
He's big.
These people are
Jesus
liars.
Christ.
They're liars.
They're committing 3 crimes: robbery, fraud, vigilantism.
The mainstream media is trying to tell you that capitalism is bad. That just because we have money, we're the bad guys.
Boy, oh boy. What a great movie.
Maybe Robin Hood is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Maybe that's like who she...
She's Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting political.
You know what I'm saying?
This is crazy.
And maybe like that's my new take on Robin Hood is like, actually like Mitch McConnell is the sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh my God. Yeah, and we don't like him.
No.
I'm glad that you took a sip there to reset so we can just move on. Yeah.
Hard reset and Ben start the episode now. But the script sort of evolves, and I think Burton latches onto the premise. And obviously, as a guy who loves sort of like gonzo, supernatural,
It's got this
As a
world
freakily.
he can represent, you know, the world of the dead,
well,
right?
and
You
this
know.
is the first time that he really gets to do his thing of the juxtaposition between like the very kitschy, suburban, sort of 1950s style aesthetic, you know, which he's doing in a more naturalistic kind of way in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, the Maitlands are very much like a kind of 50s couple,
Oh,
even
God,
though the movie
they're
takes place in the
so
80s.
dumb.
Right. And then his sort of gonzo, like full visual extremism kind of thing.
a couple of things I want to note.
Yeah.
The original script was McDowell only.
Okay.
And he had written an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents that Tim Burton had directed.
The Jar?
The
So
Jar.
they're
Starring
friends.
Griffin Dunn.
Griffin Dunn.
Which
yeah.
was then, I think, him trying to get Burton hired on for After Hours came out of that.
Right. So, like, maybe that was also part of the connection. But Burton fires McDowell and replaces him with Warren Scarron.
Okay.
So, I guess Warren Scarron
Rewrites
revamps
it
it
all
to
to
make
his
it more comedic. Right.
Right.
And you know what's so crazy is that his name's Scarron, and you know there's some
There is
scares
some
here.
scaring going on. It's
He's
a
scaring.
good. I mean,
Who
for all I know, his
produced-
name is like Scarron.
Who produced this
mangling
movie?
It.
Some scare.
Rupert Spookin?
No, it's Larry Wilson.
Oh, okay. Right.
Warren Scarron, who also
He's
wrote
Scarron.
Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, or co-wrote it with Sam Hamm.
Hamm,
Right. Yeah. So, you pointed out to me, I didn't realize this is Alec Baldwin's literally his second movie ever
It's his second credit. I will triple check that.
after doing
now.
TV, after doing soap operas.
Yeah, he'd been in
Knots
Knots Landing.
and stuff.
He'd been on stage.
Yeah.
He'd only retired from public life at that point like 6 or 7 times.
6 or 7 times. Right.
It is so basically in 1987, he's in Forever Lulu in a supporting role,
Okay.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
She's never going to stop being
Here's
Lulu.
his 1988. He has 5 movies.
Jesus Christ. So he was the Jude Law of his time.
Yes.
I mean,
He
he's
was
one of our
lawing
finest
it up.
actors.
So
Yeah.
he's a supporting role and he's supporting in all of these except for like Beetlejuice, honestly.
Ooh.
That's the title.
I know. But you got one in that column. I just want you to know you have a total of 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beetlejuice. That's the musical I'm referring to.
Jesus Christ. Okay, 5.
All right. So he was in She's Having a Baby.
Mm-hmm.
She is?
She's very good in a small
He's
part.
quite good.
He
It's a
kinda
Kevin
pops.
Bacon,
Yeah.
Elizabeth McGovern. He's in Married to the Mob, which is hilarious, and he gets murdered very fast, but
And
he's very
people,
funny.
and he's like so sexy
Super
in that
sexy.
movie, so confident. I remember like my dad telling me like that was
You
the
seen
moment where
Married to the
everyone
Mob, Becca?
like,
No.
You would love this
is it
movie.
lots
Oh.
of boys?
oh yeah.
It's some boys, but also it's just like a lot of Tude, a lot of
love
like
Tude.
it's great.
But
I should watch it.
Becca will probably go gaga for Modine in that movie.
Sure,
He's
Modine's
got
a
like
cutie.
a whole contraption
Ooh la
he
la.
uses to like put on his clothes every morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's freaky.
It's a great movie. But he's really like fucking sexy. He's got a lot of charisma in that movie. It's a really strong supporting part. Yeah.
Okay, noted. Put it in the log, Ben.
He's in Working Girl, which he also
Yes.
has a supporting role in.
Yeah.
He's in Talk Radio, which is
Jeez,
a great the Oliver Stone Bogosian movie,
Mm-hmm.
which he's like sort of the second lead in. And he's in this movie.
Called Beetlejuice. I just wanted to get get in it.
Fair. And he's first billed.
First billed. He is the lead of this movie, which no one remembers.
Which is crazy because his performance is like 60% ass. Like his ass. Did you not notice this? How his ass is just like
his
on
tight
display?
Butt in those.
He looks amazing.
He looks so good.
Slacks.
He's got the light hair, which you don't really see on Alec Baldwin much.
He's so sexy in this, and
it's the glasses too.
The glasses are so great. Because in this period where he is like ungodly beautiful, right?
Yeah, good-looking guy.
Very often he's playing this sort of like greasy machismo thing, like married to the mob, a little too slick, a little bit like.
How did his head
get so wide?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Steroids, it's like Barry Bonds. Like he just sort of
Ving Rhames.
He was dosing.
Like your head, your ears, like things grow, but it's his though grew
his
wider.
Skull.
No, this phenomenon has happened to me twice. So like I grew up, obviously Grease was one of my favorite movies, and he is beautiful in that movie. And then I at some point just like saw. Oh my God! Now I don't even. What's his name?
John Travolta.
John Travolta. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I just don't know who John Travolta is. No, I remember seeing him in like later stuff. I'm like, what happened to his head/face?
When did his eyeballs?
Same thing happened with Baldwin, but also because when I watched this movie, I was so swept up in the sexual charisma of Beetlejuice, I did not. Oh no!
No, it's fine. It's fine. You only got two.
Shit.
It's okay. It's okay.
I just want to say I'm currently in the lead.
No, but but when I was young,
race.
Listen, when I was young, I truly did not even notice that Alec Baldwin is hot in this. And then it only took me watching it later as a more of an adult to be like, oh, because I was always like, I don't get the Alec Baldwin thing. Like, he's not hot. And then I was like, wait, okay, got it.
Yeah, I mean, he's rocking like some really strong like normcore, like Alec Baldwin is daddy in this movie.
Ooh, the flannel tucked. Yes, please.
He's definitely daddy.
But it's also,
I
would argue,
idiot, and I should teach him.
I would argue this is the only time that he has really played a normal person. Like, he's usually doing so much. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Not over the top.
No, I mean, you hit me with that take last night.
Yeah.
I mean, in The Hunt for Red October, which is not long after,
I'd say that's the
he's
closest
playing a semi-normal person, but he's almost too normal, where he's just like, look, I'm just the guy who reads books and knows about submarines. And you're like, what the fuck is up with you? Do you have like a sex dungeon?
And I will say also, I think he's great in that movie.
I think Jack Ryan has a sex dungeon.
I think
great
he
in that
does.
movie. He's the best Jack Ryan by far.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I also think there is a little bit of and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I think he's wearing it very well, but the self-affected sort of like, this is my shot at being a movie star. I'm going to have the movie star swagger in this movie. The walk,
his hair's
the look.
doing a little flippity flip.
Right. Like, this is very much just like a normal guy performance. He's not coming in with that sort of like, that vibe.
He's like, honey. And then it's like, okay, we like that.
I've never seen like, I'm trying to think of like, never seen like The Juror. What's he like in The Juror?
I don't know, but I think at that point, like, he's very much
his
like
sort of flops.
That's like his version of like trying to figure out what his Tom Cruise movie star persona is.
Well, the edge is great. Yeah, I mean, I like his swaggering '90s performances. Like I like Miami Blues.
Yeah.
He's great in Glenn Ross, of course. He's amazing in Malice, where he gives that Aaron Sorkin thing where he's like, "I am God," like talking about being a doctor.
I'll refine it even more. I think this is his only non-big swinging dick performance.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the
like
big
he
thing.
becomes just like a.
He becomes a confidence man, right? And sometimes it's as like a scumball, and sometimes it's as your hero.
Yeah, because he's like truly pathetic in this movie. Like,
he's just like
a way.
Pathetic.
He's a bit
no,
pathetic.
he's not.
He's like charmingly lame guy. That's what's nice about him. He loves his model.
Yeah, no, it's cute. It's cute. I can say now that I'm like, that's all I want, like a stupid, cute boy, But like, if you're edgy, like I am still also, you'd be like, okay, this guy has not got much going on.
No, he's got a lot going on.
No,
but doesn't he hate this performance? Isn't that a thing?
Does
he not like this? So. Isn't this his least favorite of his movies? I feel like I read that.
That's stupid.
And then I'm like, okay, wow, you're basic.
Well, we don't really need to talk about Alec Baldwin, the person, because he tends to be wrong on a lot of stuff. Like
what? Give me an example.
But I mean, it's true that we are live from New York. It's Wednesday morning.
Yes.
So
what was incredible? I mean, this episode will come out a couple weeks after we're recording this. But they brought Robert De Niro back recently to do another Mueller cold open.
Yeah.
That guy, every time they give him the shot, fucks up Live from New York at Saturday Night.
He doesn't really know what it is, even though he clearly knows what it is.
He's hosted like 4 times.
Right.
Lorne Michaels loves bringing
He's
in
just
for
like,
guest appearances.
yeah, from New York at Saturday Night. Like he always like sort of joins in
By the
halfway
way,
through.
oh yeah.
Obviously, like a great actor, maybe not super well suited to live sketch comedy, and just
funny,
always
though.
seems
I
flummoxed every
appreciate
time.
that he's game.
I do
Like
too.
I'm happy he goes for it.
But for someone who's like got a reputation of like one of our finest actors ever, he hosts that show with the ease of Charles Barkley, and we love when Charles Barkley is on the show.
Barkley is
but the whole
amazing,
but
but
the
it's
whole
more
thing is that
because
he's uncomfortable.
he's bizarre,
He's
right?
a
I mean, that's
bizarre-
part of
right.
his general TV.
It's like a dog
personality,
walking on
right.
its hind legs. It's like very amusing. It's
that out.
it's a skill piece.
Yeah.
It's a skill show.
Uh-huh.
He's Sir Charles.
Yell. Griffin's literally yelling and throwing his Incredibles sketchbook around the studio.
Going mad. I'm
Don't
turning
get
into
it.
a
You gotta
snake.
keep tally.
Yeah.
Where is Gina Davis at this point? Because like Tootsie
good
and
question.
Fletch are like she's got these tiny roles in big movies.
Another person who is just like at her height of like being an appealing star.
She is so naturally appealing.
Tall,
Oh my
big,
God.
curly-haired icon who I should be.
She
I should be
is
her
a
for Halloween.
curly-haired icon. There is no question. So
There is
Tootsie, obviously,
No one in the history of film who has ever looked like Gina Davis other than Gina Davis. She is so specific.
Except for
looking.
me when I become Gina Davis.
You
and I just
really
decide.
should become Gina
I
Davis.
should.
Yeah.
So Tootsie to 82.
Yeah.
Then she's on Buffalo Bill, the sitcom with Dabney Coleman.
Right.
So that sort of occupies her time.
Fletch.
Then she's in Fletch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Working overtime.
Yeah.
And then she's in The Fly, which
Wow.
she's fantastic in.
Right.
Buzz.
And then this year she's
Earth Girls
got,
Are Easy. Does that come later?
This year she's got Beetlejuice,
Okay.
Earth Girls Are Easy, and her Oscar-winning.
Wow.
I think I already overdid it.
I just
was referring
No,
to-
I want to be clear. You have said the movie title twice. You've said the character's name twice. You've said animated once. You've said musical once. You have one more animated, one more musical, and then
Use them wisely.
Who knows what'll happen?
hell to pay.
But so she wins the Oscar this year for
Nuts.
The Accidental Tourist.
Congrats.
Right? She won
This
the
is
Oscar
the
for
same
The
year.
Accidental Tourist.
So this year is just like humongous.
Mhm.
And does she get married to Goldblum the same year? Because they're together by this
87.
point.
87.
87. Jeez.
She has
What a
already
long,
married.
lean couple.
So she
Ooh la la.
is.
Yeah, long lean couple. It's true.
She's like breaking
6
out as a
feet
movie
tall.
star. She's married to Jeff Goldblum, and
Yep.
she wins an Academy Award.
That's
All
right.
things that I want.
She's
And
the queen of Hollywood.
Within 2 years, she's divorced Jeff Goldblum.
Perfect.
And then she goes on to marry Rennie Harlan, and then they break up pretty fast. And she married someone else, and they broke up. Like,
Yeah.
she runs through the husbands.
Good for
She
her.
almost becomes an Olympic archer.
Really? I didn't know that.
What?
You didn't know this?
She's got such a
Okay,
weird
that's hot.
filmography.
Yeah. Because she took a long break and she sort of started coming back now, but she also she founded the Gina Davis Institute for Media Research, which is all about like breaking down the statistics of representation of women in media. And she's been
Yeah.
doing this for
Ooh,
like
woke.
15 years, like
she's
way ahead of the curve.
62, she's made 25 movies. Like,
Yeah.
she makes the movie if she wants to. That's kind of it. You
She
know
was
what I mean?
not Madam Secretary. What was that show called? Commander-in-Chief?
That one was called Commander-in-Chief. That's right. Which was like one of those things that was a huge hit, and then they moved it to some new night, and it tanked.
bombed within like one season.
Yep.
But that was like, oh, Gina Davis
That
is
was her
back.
comeback, right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And since then, she's worked sporadically. She does a lot of this media stuff.
Well, she's in Grey's Anatomy sometimes. She's in the Exorcist TV show as
Right.
Reagan sometimes,
Right.
which is wild.
Very weird.
But yeah, apart from that, it's like, she'll pop up in a little movie. She was in Marjorie Prime,
Oh, yeah.
which she's kind of bad in, but whatever.
I feel like there
I
was
still
something
love
I
her.
saw her in recently. First of all, that's sacrilege. She's never been bad. Second
She's
of all, I think
definitely
I saw
bad.
her something recently that she was very good in a small role. I'm always excited when she shows up.
I think of like In a World. She was in that.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
I
got a
loved
weird
that movie.
small part
Cute movie.
in that. Maybe
we got
I'm imagining this other thing.
Dimitri in that movie.
Let's not talk about Dimitri.
We love.
He's very charming in that movie.
So cute.
There was the Gina
fine.
Davis show. She had her sitcom for one season in 2000.
That was weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
What did
Because-
she do?
She was like a party planner.
Yeah, because look, her
Peter
career
Horton,
is...
Mimi Rogers.
So you go, she's riding high, right? Then 95 Cutthroat Island was at the time the biggest flop in history, right?
Yeah.
Directed by her then husband. They get divorced. Then she does The Long Kiss Goodnight, which at the time was the biggest spec script sale of all time. So it was a super hyped up movie.
I want to correct you. Rennie Harlan also directed The Long Kiss Goodnight. They only get divorced after
correct,
that. Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
But I think that was supposed to be their sort of comeback redemption movie, and it
a great
underperforms
movie.
at the box office.
It's a good movie, but
Never seen it.
Wasn't a huge
Need to see it.
It's certainly Rennie Harlan's best, I guess. I don't know.
Then she doesn't do a movie for 3 years until Stuart Little.
Right, and then she only
Yes.
does Stuart Littles.
Right, then does the sitcom for one
She's so
season
pretty
in between
in
Stuart
that.
Little 1 and 2, and then it's like she's pretty
That's
much
it.
done.
Yeah,
She just shows up in little appearances.
Consensus on Stuart Little. Good, bad.
Charming.
I haven't seen it in a long time. What do we think?
I think I saw the first one.
First one's good, second one sucks.
The second one's the one where he skateboards.
Yeah,
We
it's
talked
radical.
about it.
He's a radical root.
Oh,
I'm not
rock and
interested. It
roll.
has little in the title.
Okay.
Right. He is also. I mean, it's not like a Little John situation where it's a lie. I mean, he
is little.
He is very little.
He's a
That
regular.
guy is small.
He's regular for a mouse.
Like
I
lives in
think.
a matchbox and shit. Yeah.
Does he?
I think his bed is like a matchbox or something. I think
I
they
would
make him a
have
little.
friggin' fed him to my snake because I had a snake.
You had a snake.
Did you guys know that I like the movie that we're talking about? Because
Yes.
I had a snake.
That was one of your entry
You were a
points.
snake girl.
Oh, duh.
So the other big career to talk about here is Michael Keaton himself, my favorite living actor.
God, it's so
Did we all
hot.
just leave the room for this?
No, I'm
For the
not.
Michael Keaton thing?
I
For the
will
jerk-off
keep
fest?
it in the
Yeah.
pants. I will keep it in the
Okay,
pants.
thank you.
I mean, we're gonna do Keaton 2 more times in this miniseries,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
But
boy.
Ben and I were going over late last night while drunk how insane the arc of his career is because he was a stand-up. Then he starts being like a sitcom guest appearance guy when that was the pipeline. Like, oh, if you're good at you're killing it at the Comedy Store, ABC will sign a deal for you so you'll get like 2 guest appearances a season, right?
Right.
Is there stand-up footage of him?
Yes, it's
Oh,
hard to find.
sure.
It's really good. There's
Is
not
it very-
enough of it.
I guess he was like so long ago that they weren't filming it as much.
What's
But
his
he
like
did a couple
style
live
of
TV
stand
appearances.
That's
up?
what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Here's the joke of his that he was on the Norm Macdonald show, the Netflix show, was really good. And Norm was clearly a really big fan of his stand-up and said that Michael Keaton was one of his big stand-up influences. And I would say
That's
his
too
joke
good.
writing style is very similar to Norm Macdonald's.
What?
Performance-wise, he's
Can you
doing
imagine
the
another
Michael
world?
Keaton thing.
Right.
Like he's doing that sort of manic energy.
Right.
Yeah.
But he had this big joke where he was like, I'm going to fuck it up. But the bit is,
Better do it funny.
yeah, he's like, I love Bazooka Joe. You guys read these Bazooka Joe comics? I got one the other day. It's really, really, really good. Let me read this thing. So the first strip is Bazooka Joe, and he goes, hey, what's with the weather outside, or whatever it is. And then the second panel is like the character having this large existential tangent about like morality.
And it's him just like rambling and
Correct.
through.
Right.
Okay, hot.
It's really funny. But the joke that Norm Macdonald said is one of his favorite jokes ever is he said, I was flying into JFK the other day. We landed and they said, just so you know, the temperature in New York is 2 degrees. And I said, with degrees like that, why have any?
Michael Keaton,
Okay.
you
I think that's a really
silly.
funny joke.
Okay.
I could see him doing it and just being like,
Yeah. I thought to myself,
He
What?
seems a lot of personality. Like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
50% of the selling
I
is.
feel like he's chewing gum too while he's doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
it's that kind of
Ooh, I
energy.
He
love
definitely
that.
chews a lot of gum in movies.
Yeah, he's got a lot, like full 80s mullet.
works
He's
for
always
me.
got like business.
A
He's
lot
a
of
very
business.
businessy
he's like,
actor.
I got something to do.
He's right. He's one of the few actors where it's like he's that businessy. He's doing so much in every moment. It always feels justified. It
Like
always feels in
Spotlight,
lockstep with.
which
Yeah.
is like one of my favorite Keaton
Yeah,
performances.
he's doing a lot.
Even though he's playing a pretty quiet guy,
In
who's
a
pretty
quiet movie.
managerial, and it's
Yeah.
a quiet movie. He still finds business.
I remember
very
seeing
hot
it,
in that.
So hot in that movie.
Very hot.
I remember
That's-
seeing
yeah.
that with my mom, and there was one moment where he's doing like a walk and talk with Mark Ruffalo, and we both started laughing at the same moment and turned to each other and went, "He's still doing the Keaton walk."
Right.
Like he's like, "Resendez, come in with me,"
I
and he's
love
like
it.
doing his like strut down the hallway.
That's a lot of
Wow.
ass too.
Yeah.
He walks with hips.
That's
baby.
a tight pants movie.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
lot of men in nice slacks.
Like the Ruffalo, you
What
gotta.
about,
I mean, maybe we should.
I'm talking out of the corner of my mouth.
I know.
Yeah.
I should watch Spotlight again.
I
on
watched
HBO.
it again like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, good.
If you say Spotlight 3 times, though, you do summon the Spotlight division of the Boston Globe, who will investigate you.
We're really close.
And they'll investigate me, and they'll be like, okay, confirmed. She's cool.
Right, exactly. They give you a certificate, or there's a story like Spotlight reveals Rebecca Bulnes. Very cool.
Very cool.
He's doing these TV appearances, right? He's like showing up in sitcoms and shit. He's a cast member of the
Mary Tyler Moore Hour, I believe it's
right,
called.
which was the sketch show with him and David Letterman as part of the ensemble.
He's already, by this point, he's been in a lot of movies.
Well, no, but this is my point. So Ron Howard is casting Night Shift. This is supposed to be his breakout movie as a director. Right. He gets Henry Winkler to agree. Henry Winkler's such a big star at the time that they can't cast this other role, but the studio is so happy with Winkler that he can cast anyone. He goes to a casting director, and she goes, if you don't need a star, if you're just looking for funny, the funniest guy around is Michael Keaton. They give him this role, and overnight, he like breaks out. He's hosting Saturday Night Live. Everyone's like, this is the new exciting comedic actor. Follows up immediately with Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom.
Where he's playing a little more of a normal guy.
He's a stay-at-home dad.
And that movie's
what could call him Mr. Mom?
Nice.
Huge hit.
Big hit.
So now everyone goes, we love it, the Michael Keaton thing. And Michael Keaton says himself in interviews, I got really scared because I saw how I was going to be pigeonholed as this well-meaning kind of glib guy.
Right.
So he starts zagging.
Sure.
And does a couple things that don't work well for him.
Well, he does Johnny Dangerously.
Which is a flop.
We'll cover one day.
We will cover one day.
Amy Heckerling's. It actually wasn't like a flop because it wasn't that expensive, but it certainly didn't make money.
Especially for people coming off of big movies. Like Keaton was hot, Heckerling was hot. I think it was seen as a disappointment.
Yeah.
And Piscopo was, white hot.
Hey.
Right.
Then he does Gung Ho.
Right. Another Ron Howard movie.
Which is a movie that is borderline unwatchable today for how racist it is.
Yeah,
but
it's a very racist movie.
He's still like pretty good at it.
Right.
Like,
overseas automobile factory.
What you're trying to say
movie.
is sometimes racists are good.
It's just one of those movies where it's like it's about a Japanese company buying an American motor plant, and the whole movie is like, you see, now let me stop you here, but Japanese culture and American culture, very different.
What?
Yeah. And then you're like, are we going to move past this? And they're like, no. And the movie's long.
He does a movie called Touch and Go that definitively doesn't exist, but I'd like to read the tagline for it.
Please.
The poster is him, like the woman is trying to kiss him, and he looks astonished.
He's like, oh boy.
What is
That's
this?
how I'd feel if Michael Keaton was going to kiss me.
I would be her trying to kiss Michael Keaton.
I would be just giving a thumbs up.
I'd be like, are you sure about this? I'm game, but seems like a weird decision for you. Anyways.
With the leg up.
Yeah.
The tagline for this movie is, yesterday he was a fun-loving sports hero. Today he's had his life threatened, his Jaguar wrecked, his career jeopardized, ... and now someone's trying to cook him breakfast.
What?
Okay, now here's the thing about this tagline that I like. Short,
I relate.
Clean, very easy to understand.
It's literally got 2 paragraph breaks.
That feeling when you are a sports, but I can't even remember what the fuck you said.
It's a classic TFW.
Yeah.
So then he makes a movie called The Squeeze that also doesn't exist.
Also a good band.
The poster is him in between like twin towers and a hand is like squeezing him. It looks very strange. A mysterious black box spells danger to a con man and female detective. These movies aren't working, right? So he's kind of
this fucking poster. It's the Twin Towers, to be clear.
Capital T.
What is this?
So he's playing against the movie star persona that people liked in Night Shift and Mr. Mom, and he's not finding success in something else. And Tim Burton wants to hire Sammy Davis Jr., gives him a list of a bunch of other like weird variety show guys that he grew up loving. And Warner Brothers was like, you got to cast a movie star in this role.
Maniac.
Yeah, you have to cast someone who's like relevant to today's audience.
He's like, but I'm a weirdo and I'm a freak.
Right. And they were like, I think we can get Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton is like an above the title guy who's a little like back on his heels right now.
And
this is such a fun showcase role. It's a good manic energy kind of thing. It's not a large like commitment.
Right.
And they get him to agree to it and he becomes the guy over the title. Yeah. And this completely changes his career. Right. Because he does this, Clean and Sober, in the same year. Clean and Sober is great.
Yeah, he's great in that, too. He wins the National Society.
But he didn't immediately sign on, right?
No. They split it in between.
They say for both. Yeah.
Right, for both. For The Juice and Clean and Sober. Yeah. And then he becomes Batman.
Yep.
Then the immediate follow-up is that he becomes Batman for 2 movies.
The superhero. The famed superhero, Batman.
But he said, I mean, this was the beginning of, I think, Burton and Keaton being like, oh, we're kind of on the same page about stuff. He says, according to Michael Keaton, the character was described to him by Burton as having lived in every time period, but no time period. And I think Keaton latched onto that and was like, this is a performance, this is a character where I can't be too big.
Yeah.
Because this is the key to the movie. They use this character so sparingly.
Right.
Every time he's on screen, you're like, this is the greatest comedic performance of all time.
He's a
So
garnish.
funny.
And
he's the
never
best garnish
on screen
ever.
for more than 4 consecutive minutes.
Right.
It's
I
so
agree.
good.
Yeah.
He's like truffle.
Waddling around, just doing his thing.
Where you're kind of like, wow, this is a very intense flavor, but I'm into it.
And partially because of the cartoon show, and also partially because of how good the performance is and how ubiquitous he is as like a cultural icon now. It's sort of like Silence of the Lambs, where you think of him being in the whole film.
But the like,
yes, for sure.
it's all really just like edging, and then
It's
you
a lot
finally
of
get that
edging.
sweet
Yeah, this is a masterpiece of edging.
Yes.
BF,
Yes.
my boyfriend.
The plot of Beetlejuice.
Let's do it.
David.
I said it 3 times.
Dun, 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 dun,
You
dun, dun,
are banned
dun,
from
dun,
podcasting.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, no, wait. I was referring to the musical.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Strike that.
And so the plot of that musical
Uh-huh.
is...
It's going to be similar to the movie, I'd assume.
I think it's a little heavier on the title character.
And
from what I'm
Lydia,
hearing.
it's apparently more inspired by the cartoon show while having the plot of this movie and the two of them being like teammates. And
Yeah.
apparently the Maitlands are not a big part and they're
No.
dorks.
But also,
They're
I
like
was, yeah.
nerds. Like Danny Pudi, I believe. Pudi?
Did it for the workshop.
Yeah.
Is not doing it on Broadway.
I did not realize that Anthony King wrote the book.
Correct.
And when I read that, I was like, good, I like. Because he's funny
Artistic
and
director of
does
UCB.
good music stuff.
We'll see how that thing. It'll be opening soon.
I should be
on
in
I
it.
Broadway
believe
by
it's
the time.
opening sometime next year. Yeah,
March,
like it's
yeah.
had its tryouts. It's
Right.
going to star What's His Pants, who is already in
Alex
School
Brightman.
of Rock.
Yes, his name is Alex Brightman.
Yeah.
And
No,
this,
his name is What's His Pants.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. What's his pants Brightman, and this young woman, Sophia Ann Caruso, who's 17, and is playing Lydia, and supposed to be incredible.
I can pass as
I'm sure
17.
she's good.
You are
Yeah.
17. The reviews have been mixed so far.
Yeah,
we'll see what
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like when it opens on Broadway. Maybe we'll cover it in some capacity. Winky wink, winky wink.
What are the songs gonna be like?
I'm a guy and I'm pretty goth. Yeah, that's one of them.
What if it's a jukebox musical and
Juice?
Oh, my bad.
Juice.
No,
I've
no,
not used too many.
no. He's saying them one and the other. He's
Yeah.
putting a space in there.
Okay, fair enough.
I was doing jazz hands.
Fair enough.
I was doing-
Fair enough. I was gonna say, what if it's a jukebox musical and they just use the songbook of Blink-182?
And
Well, they could do,
because he
like-
does exist in all time, so what is his age again?
your holiday.
They could do like
Help you.
Harry Belafonte.
Johnny
They could, like,
Belafonte.
it could be like a
Get it
calypso
all the
musical,
Mm-mm.
right?
Apparently, Deo's in it,
Well, I should.
You
hope so.
gotta.
and jump in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my pitch.
Yeah.
Broadway, where's my money?
Yeah.
Susie and the Banshees would be good
Yes.
in that too.
So this movie starts out with another perfect Danny Elfman character theme. Right. A very propulsive, like exciting, dangerous sounding comedy theme.
But also funky.
with this amazing opening credit sequence that feels like this sort of like bird's eye overview.
I mean, we talked about it in Pee-wee, but it's again like Elfman. Just like it just sounds like the character.
Yes.
Like that's his skill.
Right.
He's so good at the character theme.
The same
title
thing as
theme.
The Simpsons, where you're like, this is what The Simpsons sounds like. This is what the town of Springfield sounds like.
You should have him sit down like at a piano like Edward Cullen does in Twilight and be like, hello, this is your theme. But then he gives us all a theme.
Or like Jack Black in The Holiday.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's true.
He sits down at the piano and just goes,
That's a better
"Ribbidi-doo."
connection. Don't get me started on the old JB though, because I won't stop.
So what do you think? Let me just lay up here, get some points in my side of the column. Rebecca, what do you think is the better half of The Holiday?
I mean, well, clearly, since I'm planning on starting a Jack Black podcast, I will say it's all about.
This barely
Black.
counts.
Thank you. Shock another one.
That's like the
up.
Democrats winning Vermont or whatever. So, yeah, well, we figured, when CNN's like, we got a breaking update here, projecting that Hillary Clinton will
Yeah.
win Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're getting political on this episode.
I will go there.
Okay,
There's a door.
He's crazy.
Maybe there's like, a line like, do not cross. I cross.
listen, it's Thanksgiving soon. You got to be careful with your family. Oh God, tough conversations with your family. Am I right?
boy, yeah.
Except actually, literally, Cuban Republicans are real. So we'll see how that goes.
Really?
And
Yeah.
in Florida,
What's up, uncles?
Florida
Yeah.
had some elections.
Yeah.
Did they?
We're talking
ever?
about it.
Well, yeah, because you're a Cool Trail Miami girl.
Oh, rock and roll, Miami. Yeah, party in the city where the heat is on. Go on.
All night, all day.
Yeah,
something.
yeah, you got it.
Beach is on.
I just like how quickly it goes from like, because the poster for this movie is like Crazy Ghost. You know you got this wacky comedy star in it. The score sounds like exactly what you expect this movie to sound like. And then we realize it's a model town, and now it's just two really nice basic people in an attic.
Sorry, David.
Yeah, hey, man.
Your fashion stinks.
I know. You've been smelling it from all the way over there. Stinky fashion.
It stinks, and it looks not so great.
It doesn't look as bad as it smells, but neither good.
No.
Neither good.
No good.
Yeah, look, I've been making an effort recently. I'll admit it. I've been stinking up the studio with my fashion, but I found a solution. We got some friends over at Bombfell. I don't know if you've heard about these guys.
I have.
It's an easy way for men to get better clothes. You complete a simple questionnaire, and then you're matched 1-to-1 with a dedicated personal stylist. They don't charge over retail price. They have free shipping and returns. They just send you stuff, and you try it on at home. If you like it, you keep it. If you don't like it, send it back. They give you a bag. You reseal it. It's a piece of cake. And you can preview and edit whatever your stylist picks for you before they ship it. It's a very easy way to get dressed in the morning.
I think this is going to really change your game.
You're a fashionista. Look,
true.
You know, you just fall out of bed looking well dressed. Some of us need a little bit of help. So they have this keep more, get more in each shipment. So if you keep 2 items, you get 10% off. 3 items, 15% off.
Sure.
4 items, 20% off,
okay.
right?
Okay.
So you got plenty of time to figure it all out. You can sign up for your partner if maybe you're worrying about how they're dressing, and they can figure it out themselves.
Because it becomes unbalanced.
You
can't look good, and then your partner be a schlub.
They ask you all these personal questions about like how you want to dress. Like, are you looking for like work clothes? Are you trying to step up your game a little bit? Things like that.
Sure.
You put in your measurements. You put in your preferred kind of styles.
Do they ask you how horny you want to look?
Not sure. I mean, I don't really need any help on that front, honestly. So maybe I just skimmed over that.
Sure.
I like, anyway, I just like how easy it is, especially since going to like clothing stores can be such a pain. And so if you go to bombfell.com/check, we've negotiated with them to get an offer for our listeners, $25 off your first purchase. You just go to bombfell.com/check. That's BOMBFELL.com.
Then you make sure that you hit the / You just got to check to make sure you did that.
I mean, you do have to do that.
Right.
But then you should also type the word check.
Oh.
Yep. And, Bombfell, it's easy. Opening clothes. That's their catchphrase, their little tagline. Opening clothes. Get it?
I do.
All right.
Whew, that was crazy.
That was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Well, please, you're being a little histrionic.
I'm just guessing.
I am commenting on it too.
They live in Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
In an idyllic home.
Beautiful, small.
It's all on its own out there.
My dream car.
He owns the hardware
Nice
store,
car.
Maitland Hardware.
You got to go over the covered bridge to get anywhere.
Okay,
Always a little dog on the bridge.
when I was young, I didn't get that was his store, and I always thought
didn't either. I
that
thought
he
it was
was
great
going
thing,
in, but I thought he like left money for someone, and I was like, wow, that's nice. Like,
Sure,
I had
it's
this
got
whole
that
thing.
small town charm.
Yeah. Also, the guy outside that's talking to no one is me.
Yes,
I
yes,
identify
I know.
clearly
Yeah.
with
And
him.
I like that he's not too cutesy to entertain this annoying old man. He's just like, oh, yeah, you do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But this is like, you got two very appealing movie stars. He's setting up a very nice small town, and you just get on board with them immediately, and then they're dead within 4 minutes.
Yeah, then they die. And I think in the original script, the death was more graphic. In this,
Yeah.
the car just sort of sinks.
It's a
under
nice,
the
like, because if it was too heavy, it would cast a long shadow over
No,
the
I
movie.
agree. I mean,
And you got the cute business with the dog balancing on the other side of the plane. So it's setting a comedic
now
tone
that is a
already.
rascal, that dog.
that dog is totally
That dog's
a
like,
murderer
fuck
that
you,
should be brought to justice.
die.
He's got a long rap sheet. They come back home.
Yep.
Everything's normal. As a kid, you're watching this and you're like, oh, cool. They swam out of the lake.
Sure.
But they start to realize some weird shit going on. Their hands catching on fire.
What?
Not showing up in the mirror.
Which now reminds me, when I see that scene, I think of What We Do in the Shadows with, what's the character's name? Viago? Is that Viago? And he's
I
like,
could not tell you
he's
the
got like the
character's
cup. He's like, ooh, look at the cup.
Yes.
It's floating.
Yeah. Oh, right. The
That's
mirror
fun
bit.
stuff.
Right. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
Always a
now.
good bit.
The effects in this
hilarious.
movie are so good.
They are.
They're really, really, really good.
They're good when they're seamless, and they're good when they're not. Like like both times, you sort of love it.
And both the sort of seamless stuff and the super stylized stuff age well.
They do.
But very quickly he realizes, Barbara, I don't know if we survived.
Cut to handbook of the deceased. I don't know if that's actually the cut, but
yes, they noticed the book on the counter, the handbook for the recently deceased.
Diseased? And he's like, you idiot. Learn how to read.
They're dead.
And they're now...
Also, Alec goes into like an alternate dimension.
With the
Well, they
sandstorm.
try to leave the house, and they see the sandworms.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Which reminds me of Tremors, which I've only seen once at my grandma's house in Spanish. Highly recommend. Spanish dubbed.
Tremors?
Yeah, so funny.
What does Spanish Kevin Bacon sound like?
I know los tremors.
Wait a second, this sounds good.
It is good.
I do love when you watch sometimes on special features, they'll have the oh, here's the bonus feature of here's this one scene in 30 different languages.
Yeah.
And you hear comparison, some of the voiceover actors clearly are I'm really going to try to sound like this guy.
Right.
And some of them just 100% do their own thing. Guys, Teen Titans Go to the Movies, my favorite comedy of 2018.
Yeah.
Narrowing my eyes at you.
Bought it on Blu-ray, and they have a reel of the
you would
voices.
get along with my
different-
11-year-old brother.
On Blu-ray?
I bought it on Blu-ray.
You should meet my brother.
Coughing fit at that news.
You're gonna kill him.
I'm going to correct myself. I bought it on iTunes because they didn't release a 4K UHD Blu-ray, and I thought I could get it in higher resolution if I just bought the iTunes digital copy. But it comes with the features.
Gotta have him.
Me and Ben are just sort of feeling a little sad right now.
4K resolution for a Flash animated movie.
Right. Isn't that thing made for $18?
Correct. But they have a reel of their voices in every country, and Beast Boy, who sounds like me, is hey dude.
Yeah.
And then half the clips are yo soy Beast Boy.
That's good. I like it.
The Israeli Beast Boy is really good. Anyway,
Shout out.
So they are now trapped in this home trying to figure out what's going on, and I love the thing the movie does, which is they're now time is passing for them very strangely.
Sure.
Yeah.
They don't know how long they've been dead.
Yeah. And it's never really, we don't have to think about that too hard, right? We
Right.
know that months have passed
Right.
pretty quickly. Oh, also the real estate agent's trying to flip their house and
Right.
they don't want to flip it.
She'd come by early in the movie.
Okay. Also, she comes by early in the morning. They're like, it's 6:45. I'm like, you're on vacation. Why are you up at 6:45? Insane people.
No, they want to fix up their house or
No.
whatever it is they're
Yeah.
doing. I don't know.
She shames them for not having a baby.
Yeah.
And they get kind of
it's like, they have
somber.
She doesn't
problem.
shame them. She says
Right.
it'd be nice,
For a
it's sort of fit
family.
for, and Gina Davis makes sort of a sad face and she's like, I'm sorry.
Right.
And
so
you're like, ah.
yeah.
You
right.
get the sense that they're infertile.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sweet because the movie doesn't lay it on too thick, but the fact that Lydia kind of becomes a daughter figure.
Because
to them.
then they're helping her with her math homework. At the
Yes.
end of the movie.
Cute.
But so the house is getting flipped, the real estate agent's coming by, and very quickly the Dietzes buy it.
The best character in the movie by far, Delia Dietz. She's the best person.
Unbelievable.
She would have been my Oscar winner.
Okay, she's exactly who I want to be. She also looks like my ex-stepmom. Shout out Janice. Love you. I always thought Catherine O'Hara looked just like her. And I had also just from a young age watched her in Christopher Guest movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just have a strong connection to her. And I think, the performance is incredible, but also breaking it down, that character, she fucking rules. She is the best.
This is one of the areas where you go, this is why this movie is operating on a higher level, is just it'd be so easy to be here's the annoying stepmother character.
Oh no, she's
and
so
she
good.
is such a laser focused specific type of person.
What did she say that that I was watching it? I was like, okay, me. She goes, Charles, I will not stop living and breathing art just because you want to relax. I'm like, okay, same. Yes.
I love how specific they are though. They're this very of the moment type of yuppie
Right.
with very specific tastes that Charles is stressed out, quote unquote.
Right.
Was whatever.
Charles is the perpetual put upon victim
Sitcom
of a
dad.
New Yorker comic.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
But I also do love him. I love their marriage. I love honestly, as a young person, I was oh, Lydia's cool and I should be like that. But now as an adult, I'm okay, she's annoying. Shut up. She literally just wants to be Delia. And I'm okay, can I be an annoying, obnoxious art freak with a nice white husband? That's
yes,
just like,
you know, let's say a nice white husband and a
Connecticut.
wonderful performance by acclaimed pedophile Jeffrey Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgot.
One of many creepy people we have to talk about numerous times on this miniseries.
Well,
I would like to
some
say
people are pedophiles.
that I feel like send up of artists are so usually bad.
yes,
This is a great example of like capturing the art scene at the moment.
Yeah.
And kind
Yeah.
of like I think it's just well done.
and it's a beautiful like tightrope performance from Catherine O'Hara, who like
So good.
constantly straddles the right side of becoming too irritating, while also understanding what's maddening about her to Charles, to
Yeah.
Lydia, but why they wouldn't like throw her out of the house immediately.
She literally wears. Do you know this? That she wears his sweater like as pants in a later scene, and I'm like, that is so sick. And she's like gorgeous, and I'm like obsessed.
Well, and the best piece of characterization for Delia in the movie is the existence of Otho. Like everything you know about
amazing.
need to know about this character comes from the fact that she's that close to her interior designer, who
Right.
like essentially lives with them.
You know what I noted? That like I was like, okay, beautiful. Her lipstick matches his shoes. Like the first time you see them, I'm like, they are a pair. They are like, they just know. And although also like Otho's just like lived a life, and I feel like he, you know,
Yes.
I mean, R.I.P. But like,
Like,
what
Glenn Shadix
can you
was the best.
imagine a
Yeah.
spin-off movie of just Otho and like all of his lives?
He should host a show on HGTV
Right,
Otho?
right now.
Yes.
Like,
right now
bring him
because
back.
Ghost Otho.
I want to live
Oh, he's dead. I'm
He
He
sorry.
is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this kind of like house.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the staticky kind of like pebbled sort of like, I don't even know
Oh
what
no,
would you call
the weird
that.
outdoor patio thing that they have that like it looks like a window.
Yeah,
like,
it look like
I'm like, I wanna
half
live there.
looks like a modern art museum, and
Yeah.
half looks like a German expressionist horror film.
it's so cool.
Which is like the straddling of the lines of like, okay, the Maitland's world is like totally normal. Then the
Wholesome.
Dietzes
Yes.
come in and starts to become a little Tim Burton heightened, but it's because
Right.
they are weird artsy people. She's got her glued down curls on the sides of her head,
Oh,
like,
she's so
Right.
cool.
and then you get to
She
the
is
underworld, which is full,
amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume like obviously she was in SCTV.
This is kind of her movie breakout.
I'm trying to think
though,
if
right?
she had done anything.
Because
Like,
then after this, she has
she's
Home
in After
Alone.
Hours.
Oh,
She's
right,
in
she's really
Heartburn.
good in After Hours.
You know, so
Yeah.
I guess she'd been in some stuff, but you know, and of course, Winona Ryder is quite young.
had
I mean,
done Lucas,
She did Lucas and Square Dance. That's it.
right?
And this year, obviously, she also has Heathers, which
Yeah,
is, she's
Becomes
amazing.
an icon.
Yeah.
Who brings us together as friends in the first place?
That's true.
Yes,
We've talked about it too many times.
too many times. We
Let's
won't-
do it one
but-
more time.
Great
But
Balls of Fire, Mermaids. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at her.
Looking
so-
at Catherine O'Hara.
We both loved Lydia Dietz more than anything or
Yes.
whatever when we were little kids.
Right.
Like it was like our first pop culture crush. That is
Yes.
the shared
And, yeah.
David and Griffin connection that no other person has ever had.
no,
Never.
Yeah, I
makes us
definitely
very-
didn't want to be her, and she definitely is not the reason for my internalized racism. But
Right.
like, yeah,
very, very special.
When you
kids.
Gina Davis is right here with her curly hair.
yeah. But I, like I said, was a snake girl,
Uh-huh.
so I was like, I am actually Lydia, but I can never get my face or hair to look like that.
My roommate.
So I will
had a
struggle with
snake,
this for
too,
years.
and there would always be rats in my freezer.
Yeah, same.
I just sort of like love the sort of like three tiers he's working with in this movie, which somehow he makes coalesce not only in terms of like the visual aesthetics of the different worlds, but
Yeah.
also like the pitch of performance. Because you have like Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are being like very naturalistic.
Sure.
Then you get to
I
like
think they push it a little bit. I think they lean a little bit into like their white toastiness.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you have like the Dietzes are like mid-level comedy, and then you get to the underworld people who are like insane over the top.
Yeah.
And somehow he makes this whole thing like gel.
It's good.
But yes, they see the Dietzes moving into their home. They hate this. They want to figure out how to get rid of them. They try spooking them, but they're ghosts. And they can't even see them.
Mm-mm.
Sitting in, you know, what's the image that's so good? When they're like going through the house and Otho's like spray painting all the walls for what color they're going to replace it
Mauve.
with.
She just writes mauve.
Right. And then they open up the closet and Gina Davis is hanging there.
Yeah, a
like,
lot of
from
suicide
nude.
stuff in
Love.
this movie.
Right. And they're both like, oh my God. And you think they're frightened by the dead body,
Yes.
and instead it's how garish their clothes are.
No, it's how small the closet
Oh,
is.
right.
Like,
Yes.
iconic.
So they realize, oh, this isn't working. They can't see us. We're spooking and scaring. I'm standing in Charles's office with my own decapitated head. None of it's working.
Yeah.
So they read the book. They decide to go meet with someone. They draw the door.
Which I love that.
And I love that then it's physical. Like the bricks still have to like move. You know, it's not just like an animated like boop. You know?
Yes.
That was one of my things with this movie because I think I like asked my mom, I was like, when did I watch this probably? And she was like, probably like 7. I'm like, that's bad. And she's like, I agree.
I don't know. When did you first watch it?
I think I was 8.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it on Comedy Central and it like was a late night like showing.
Yeah.
And I watched the first half of it and my parents were like, you have to go to sleep. And I was losing my mind. That it was like, well,
gotta watch the film,
right? Because they were like, "We'll tape it. You can watch the rest tomorrow." And I had to wait 24 hours. Like,
that disrupts the flow, Mom.
Go to school, sit there the whole day, being like, "When am I gonna get my juice?"
That's what am I gonna get?
Because I
gotta get juiced.
The cutoff point where I had to go to sleep is when he
you're about to get that
emerges
juice?
from the graveyard. For the
Oh,
first
sure.
time.
So you're
Because
right.
We're getting these little glimpses of him. You see the TV commercial after they die,
Which
and they're
is
trying to figure out how to
so
get through.
funny.
It's such a good parody of that kind of like local sort of like huckster commercial.
Yeah.
He's in his cowboy outfit.
Right.
He's doing a lot of
He's looking like a
business.
snack, honestly.
He's looking like a snack. He is a style icon in this movie. And I think because people are so familiar with the iconography of the striped suit.
The poster has it. Obviously, the cartoon
When people
had
parody it. When the guy
yeah.
walks around at Universal Studios.
And it's such a classic, like, Tim Burton thing anyway, is the stripes.
That
He loves the
becomes-
stripes.
It becomes it, yeah.
Right. But he wears like 20 different outfits in this movie, and all of them are great.
And he looks so good. I love
Just gonna look at him.
He's got his
God.
weird
Just wanna
scumbum
get another
taxi
look at him.
driver
I love
with
his,
the duster and his
his-
like,
his like bad stuffing of like a stomach that
I
is
love
so
it,
like
yeah.
you know like that's not it looks cheap and like campy and just but he has such charisma.
Well, and I also love like how sort of expressionistic and theatrical his whole design is because you go like, well, he's got this like weird hair piece,
which
with
he
his,
said was his thing. He was like, I want big hair,
right, and the scabbing along the hairline and all that stuff, which is like really detailed. But then his eyes are just dark circles around his eyes.
They just painted. I mean, it's the same as Batman, basically.
Right.
Just paint dark circles around his eyes.
Right, but they like don't try to make it look like anything other than makeup. They don't try to make it part of his biology.
It looks like a costume.
Right, the stomach is obviously very stuffed, but then he also has the scabbing. The nails are very realistic. Like it's
weird because it's like
he's got,
there's
like,
so
green
much makeup.
splotches on his mouth.
right.
Yeah.
He's like part like real kind of tangible like monster
You can't
movie
even really
stuff.
tell what he looks like.
No, and that's like
his
half
face.
like kabuki stylization.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's doing this weird like jambalaya of a performance where he's like combining every
God,
type
it's
of
so good.
unsavory character in one.
Yeah.
Oscillating between all these different like voices and
I mean, should we
modes.
talk about this profound influence on me as a young person?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'll say it. Beetlejuice, the guy.
Okay.
So I like had just for sure like real ass like sexual dreams about him.
Hardcore.
As a young person. And is like truly I can think of like the 3 things that were like hot to me like in a formative way. It is David Bowie and Labyrinth.
Sure.
It is The Little Vampire, which is age appropriate for me because I was young.
Jonathan Lipnicki?
No, the vampire, duh.
Okay.
I'm goth. And then my boyfriend in this movie.
The juice.
The juice.
And
And like
Mr. B.
I think it's because I was like, why did I like latch onto it so hardcore? And I think it's because it's the first depiction of any character that I had seen who's just so fucking horny.
He's really horny.
And I mean, like, he is literally a predator and is like constantly sexually assaulting people.
Right. He's an eternal demon trying to marry a teenager.
Yeah.
Yes. And he seems above all else libido driven.
Yeah.
Like he wants to get some.
But I didn't know the difference at the time.
Sure,
I didn't
I
know that it was unwanted. So I was like, yes, that is good. And I like it. And that makes me horny, actually.
Yes. Well, you're a crush monster.
Yeah. No, I can't even describe to you like the weird like sexual fantasies that happened like from just with me and him.
Do you remember
It's
how
fucked up.
like actual like sort of like narrative driven sexual fantasies with
Yeah,
wow.
and it was like all real crusty, you know. And he was just like a funny guy doing, you know, like his little dances. You know, he's always like kind of dancing.
Oh yeah. Did he take good care of you or was he kind of a creep?
Well, the thing is like, okay, he's also like starved for attention. Like he wants affection.
It's true. He wants pals.
He's very performative.
Yeah. Which I think I related to / still do relate. I'm like, yeah. He's like when he goes with me, he's like, Mom, Dad.
He's got that theater kid thing.
Yeah. And I was like giving, I could like fulfill that for him,
Sure.
And he was still horny all the time. Anyways, still very hot to me.
Beetlejuice.
He eats
Very,
bugs.
very like upsetting to know that he is truly a predator, but it still works.
Oh, I
for
mean,
me.
it's a bizarre fantasy movie about ghosts.
Yeah.
Again, he's hundreds. He's quite old.
Hundreds. He's lived
Hundreds
through the
of
Black
years old.
Plague 167
Right,
times.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
funny every time.
I also would like to talk about the influence of this character.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
sir.
Oh boy.
He is very punk.
He's so
Sure.
punk.
He's anti-establishment.
Oh, 100%.
He plays by his own rules.
He tucks his suit pant legs
Yes.
into his boots.
Yes, he does.
There's a line where he goes, "You like it?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I love it. Yes, very much so.
and
And just for me, I saw this as a young kid, was hooked.
Yeah.
Rewatched it a million times. Me and my friend, shout out Joey Beatles.
Shout out.
We'd watch it all the time.
on the porch.
He's one of the ultimate scum bums, this character.
He is.
He's
And
literally a bum covered in scum.
He's the best. He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. It truly is, I think, one of the best comedic performances in the history of film.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say, though, what little David liked about this movie.
Uh-huh.
It's like there's like an afterlife with all these rules and like bureaucracy and
You
paperwork.
like the structure.
There's like an office.
Okay,
I
so
like
Like,
all
oh,
the world
better
building.
not kill myself.
I know.
So
Yeah.
let's get to the scene.
I like
right?
want to know like what are all the details of how this works.
Okay, so we're jumping ahead a little bit. Like
No,
Mr.
we're not
Goose has
jumping ahead.
Mr. Goose has appeared in the commercial. You see his hand trying to lure the bug in so he can
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah.
But we're pretty much in Maitland and Dietz-land, right? They make the door in the wall and they go
So
meet
good.
Juno, who's their caseworker.
Love.
You have this great waiting room that's like full Burton. Like
That
this
was also sexual for me because we have woman sliced in half. I was like, she's hot.
she's
Get
really,
it.
She's really hot.
And
Yeah.
then receptionist also hot. There's just like a lot of sexual energy in this film.
Yes, I'm not crazy. I'd say the only thing in this movie that like kind of like scratches a little bit is the joke that if you commit suicide, your punishment is you get stuck in a
You're a
Which
bureaucratic
is
job.
the implication is what happened to
Civil
Beetlejuice,
servant.
Right.
Yeah.
The animated series
Yes.
Oh.
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you still have that one. Okay.
Yeah.
You have one left only in the musical column.
But right, like, isn't that because he was an employee of Juno?
he was Juno's assistant.
Right.
I think I read that he was like, that he tried to hang himself, but he got drunk and like couldn't do it right. And then just like didn't, it didn't like,
It didn't go.
yeah. And he died like a slow, very painful,
Yeah, that
gross
seems
death.
about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which also makes me be like, Beetlejuice. Oh, I said it.
Okay. In what
Like-
context? Go on. Finish the sentence.
No, him. Just
Okay.
like, do you want to talk? This is my little young savior complex.
Rebecca, I have very bad news for you.
Oh no, did I lose?
You've said the character name 3 times. Dun, 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 dun,
It was my plan all
dun,
along
dun,
because now he
dun,
will
dun,
come
dun,
and
dun.
sweep me off my feet.
It doesn't seem that bad to say the names more than once.
Well, let's see what happens if it another trio is completed. But you get all these amazing visual gags.
Yeah,
Rebecca was just doing something funny with the cord in her nose.
guys, I'm a physical comedian,
Yeah.
just like Michael Keaton.
Got a genuine laugh out of me. She was making her nose smushed with the microphone cord. You get these amazing, like, sort of like single panel comic gags of
Yeah.
seeing how everyone died.
I love
There's the
that.
camper still in his sleeping bag with the rattlesnake. There's the dude who was at a fried chicken restaurant and the bone is stuck in his throat.
And it's so colorful. Like it looks like it's funny because it's like morbid, funny, whatever, blah blah. But it's so colorful and so like tactile for
Yeah.
like a child.
And
you know,
this is when the sort of German expressionist influence comes in really big. Like
Yeah.
Burton is very influenced by like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and these crazy angles and mad lighting and day-glow colors, even though I know that movie is black
Day-O.
and white. Day-O colors.
Deo colors.
But they want answers and they find out very quickly. Here are the bureaucratic rules. You're only allowed to meet with your caseworker 3 times your entire like eternity.
Yeah.
So everyone's sounding like, this is stupid. You've only been dead for like 3 months and already.
Right.
That's
they're almost
white
frustrated.
people
Right.
for you. They're like, can I talk to
Can I
the
butt to the
manager?
head of the line?
Yeah.
Actually.
There is one logic gap, which I totally give this movie. Like, I'm not going to be
You're
going to
give it a break,
this.
but you
Everyone
noticed it?
else in this universe is visually affected by the way that they died, and the Maitlands are bone dry.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that they should be wet?
I'm not saying they should. I know Ben would prefer it.
100% they should be.
Here's my
You want some
but
dripping.
here's my
Little-
thing against
little
that.
sip.
Yeah.
I have an actual plausible
Please.
argument. The wetness on the outside of their body is not what killed them. Their lungs might be full of
Oh, that's a good point.
liquid.
I think, yeah.
Liquid, but they drowned. It's a sort of I assume that's what Burton would say. Well, they drowned.
Well,
It's
then when they pulled their heads off, there should be a little slosh coming out.
look, the movie didn't have that high a
Splish
budget. It didn't have
splash.
a slosh budget.
I don't know.
Ben is like in the studio meeting. He's like, "What's our slosh budget?"
Negotiating the deal.
Do we have any slosh funds?
Yeah. 5 comedy points.
I think that they were like, I think they were they considered having them wet, but then it was like, that would be really uncomfortable.
I think so too. And it would be really hard to film, to have to wet them down before every single take.
But also quite sexual. Also, like, can you imagine that bouncy Baldwin hair just sticking to the sides of his face? You know?
well,
Kind of dusty, a little
He's like,
dusty,
"Oh."
dirty too.
the other thing I love is that I'm realizing how much like Alec Baldwin is rocking my like perpetually wearing a baseball cap and round glasses
That's
look in this
good.
movie.
Which you are now.
Or whether I am now rocking his Beetlejuice look. But and hold on one here. I got 2.
He thought he could
in
keep
the
rolling
title
along.
tally.
What's going to happen?
I do think one of the big comedic conceits of the movie is, despite them being the ghosts, they're the supernatural creatures, and they very quickly become the most normal-looking things in the movie.
Yeah.
The house becomes so stylized, the Dietzes are so stylized, their world is so stylized,
They're freaking goth.
and they're just like normcore. But this Juno scene is great. Sylvia Sidney, who was an old Hollywood actress,
Yep, she's amazing. I love her.
unbelievable. She has a slit throat. She's chain smoking.
I love
so
how
the
you
smoke
don't
comes
see
out of
that
her
until
neck.
later. You're like, wow.
It's a really
Yeah.
subtle, like, this is
So
when
good.
he still had a very light touch, Burton, and was just like, I'm going to let you notice this at your own pace. I'm not going to cut to a close
Dark Shadows, which we'll get to,
Uh-huh.
and is also about a weird pale guy who
Yeah.
like is sort of a man out of time, I guess.
and is hypersexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is like right. Is the perfect contrast for like where did Tim Burton go wrong? Like this versus Dark Shadows.
Right.
Where you're like, why Dark Shadows is so obvious with everything. It's so like flat and like
Yeah.
the design of it is so sort of like despairingly boring. I don't know.
And this movie has weird emotional weight to it. Like, you actually feel for like what the Maitlands are going through. Lydia, as much as she's just sort of, like a sad, mopey girl, it's like her pathos is so strong and so genuine. She's
Right.
so sort of morbid that you feel bad for her. You feel bad for Charles.
I think I used to, and now when I rewatched for this, I was like, shut up. Like, I think I get it,
Uh-huh.
but I think she is also playing it so over the top
She's very
so that we
theatrical,
can
yes.
be like, oh God, young people.
Yeah, it's right. A young girl in a phase. No one understands me.
Yeah.
I
Especially
love
if she
her.
just opens up her
Yeah.
eyes and notices that Delia is really cool and
Yeah.
is probably into the same. That's the thing. She's probably into the same shit that Lydia's into.
Right. Well, there's a connection to be made there, but she's a teenager.
Right. Her
Well,
mother
Do you think her
died.
mom's dead?
her-
Yeah, they
her mom
say
is
there's
dead.
Do they
one
say that?
throwaway line. Yeah.
I forgot.
Um,
Okay, I feel bad.
Her
for
mom
her,
is
I
dead.
guess.
She's in perpetual mourning.
Yeah.
Her dad is
She's
sort of
utterly alone.
Right.
Yada yada.
and she's obsessed with the darkness.
She is, and she's almost nonchalant about how she can see these ghosts.
Yes.
Oh, that reminds me of my favorite thing that I forgot, where they're like, I think we're ghosts. Like, they've never heard of ghosts before. Do you remember?
Ghosts.
I'm like, are you stupid? You know what I'm talking about? It's like early when they die.
Yes.
Pretty funny. Anyways, go on.
The Sylvia Sidney scene is great, and you get just the really nice touches of world building when they're going through the hallway to try to meet with her, and they find the room for the lost souls,
Right.
and it's
Spooky,
like
spooky.
death for the dead, and that thing's like actually
You're like,
upsetting.
The movie is profoundly upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, if you dwell on certain aspects, especially I think if you're younger and you're sort of like,
death obsessed, like probably
what are
all
the
of us were.
implications
Yeah.
of all of
Yeah.
this? Right. You could just sort of like watch it, have a good time, not worry about it.
Yeah.
But if you think about some of the corners of this movie,
Never leave the house.
And there's so much that like totally
for
went.
125 years. I think
Yeah.
there's some sort of a time limit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that like went over my head as a young person. Like when the receptionist is like, "Oh, my my little
Yes.
accident,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "I don't get how she died.
Who murdered her?
Like she's pretty."
The handcuffs were too tight.
Yep. I just love the world building stuff.
I did too.
I'm predictable.
Yeah, no, and I like how like the Juno scene is so quick. Like once she enters, she just starts sort of ranting and raving to them in this room that they don't recognize. And as she's walking them through it, they come to realize that it's their home that's been renovated, and they've been in this waiting room for months and months and months.
Right.
And it's freaking. I mean, that interior design, man.
Right.
Otho done did it. You know,
Right.
like
Crushed.
Otho crushed it.
I do love Otho.
everything. Otho is so good. Really,
Glenn Shaddix is his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Lydia's room with the shiplap, the painted shiplap.
Oh,
So good.
so
No,
good.
the house is amazing, but the Maitlands have a very simple, very specific aesthetic, and there's a clash. All they still have is their attic,
Right?
Because that's locked. Although
It's
Lydia has the skeleton key,
Right.
Parents don't know, so they still have their model, which is all they care about at the end of the day. Their little model
Their
town.
little
Right.
model town.
They are weird.
They're weird people.
The Maitlands are weird.
Yes,
I guess it's that
They
Tim
could be
Burton
freaks
Blue
of the
Velvet
Sheiks.
vibe, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
right. It's one of the few times he doesn't demonize the normal people for being weird. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
He just thinks
like
they're
Edward
weird too.
Scissorhands.
Sure.
It's
yeah.
like, oh, they're upsetting.
Which is sort of my problem with Edward Scissorhands, which I don't love as much as this movie. I like it a lot, but right with that where I'm sort of like the fable kind of aspect of it. I'm like, I get it. Yeah. Like Beetlejuice, I kind of love everyone. I'm referring
I
to
do,
some
yeah.
other bullshit. I don't know.
The musical
really
that
is.
you haven't
Musical.
seen yet?
Yeah, exactly.
There really isn't a character that I don't love in this movie and sympathize with in some
Right.
Agreed.
way.
I mean, like
I think they're
Robert
all charming.
Goulet, I guess.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
No, but it's one of these movies too where it's like Tim Burton was in these early stages assembling such a good like rep company of like really good comedic character actors.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone's fun. Every part is fun. He's letting people really kind of go wild in these roles. But they ask Juno at the end of the thing, what about this this beetle? And she goes,
Don't say his name.
don't say his name 3 times. And she gives a very stern warning.
Yeah.
Used to be my assistant, went off the handle. He now
He's
considers
got
himself a
ideas.
bio-exorcist, which I think is just such a cool term.
Very
Yeah.
cool term.
Yes.
But what are the rules of how has he been banished? Where is he?
He's living in their
under
model.
the
Well, I
ground.
know that, but like, what are the rules of him?
I think he's
Apart from that you have to
moldy
say his
because he's
name
under
3
the rock.
Yes.
He is moldy.
Yes.
He's a moldy guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But like, was he specifically banished to a specific? It doesn't matter.
I think
Yeah,
of him as
you don't
a
know what like
freelance
realm
demon.
he's in.
No,
or
I
whatever.
know that. I get that.
I feel like he's
But-
like Interstellar, like in the bookcase. Like he's able to communicate like through the TV.
Right.
He's able to be in the model. He's sort of untethered.
How did he get to this zone? I guess he just sort of escaped.
Juno banished him.
Right.
That's the zone he's in, and only
Sure.
someone can choose to release him. And she
right.
tries
but
to
he
warn him.
can film TV commercials.
I mean,
Well, no, he can
he's
like
got to
possess
put
the
the
TV
word
and
out.
try to-
joking.
yeah, it's
I'm
viral
joking.
Gotta
marketing.
put
It's
the
just fun.
word
Yes,
out.
yes.
Yeah.
for
So
his
in like the
business.
musical, is he like on Twitter? Is that the
Probably. We haven't seen it yet.
He's like,
I mean, I've referred to it a lot, so
what
I'm
would
pretty
he
sure I've seen
tweet
it.
about?
2 times.
What would he tweet? He'd be like, he'd like tweet the Denny's Twitter and be
Right.
like, "You up?" And then they'd like interact.
Exactly.
And he'd be like, "Actually, the Denny's Twitter is funny."
And then you'd be like, he tweets porn stars a lot.
Yeah.
You know those Twitter accounts where you like look up someone's
Oh my
like
God.
tweets and it's like all them being like, love those photos anymore.
But guys, would he follow me? Oh my God. Do you think?
The Bee Man?
I
That was
hope.
close. Yes, 100% he would follow you.
Ugh.
He would have a podcast, would he not?
And he'd be like,
Yeah.
"What's up, fuckers?"
He'd be like, hold on.
What the fuck?
And he'd
No.
chew on bugs.
Yeah.
Eat bugs on Mike.
He's definitely part of the dirtbag left, right?
Yeah, that's right. He'd be on Cumtown or whatever. I don't know. One of these things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'd be like, I like the name. Yeah, me too. Fun.
It's got cum in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves cum. And he comes dry scabs. So June disappears. They're now
Listen
in their
to that
house.
podcast.
Yeah.
Months
We
later.
lost them?
Hmm?
We lost them?
Lost who?
The listeners?
Oh yeah,
All of them.
They're
all
gone.
gone. They're long gone.
A few had come back and.
Yeah. They chose to walk outside and be devoured by sandworms rather than listen to the rest of this episode.
It's okay. They're just not goth. Just kidding.
No, they're not edgy enough.
I'm sure there are goth listeners. Tweet in if you're a goth listener.
Yes.
Or if you went through a goth phase, tweet us photos of
Yeah.
you in your Lydia phase.
Yeah.
And if you're gothletic, also,
Gothletic.
Gothletic? What does gothletic mean?
it sounds exactly like what it is. It's like
Athletic
goth
goths?
clothes that's like athletic clothes.
Oh, okay.
It's like drapey, but it's like mesh.
Okay, so wait, but confirmed or unconfirmed that Keaton like improvised most of this?
He certainly improvised plenty of his sort of monologue. I'm sure he was throwing things in, right?
A lot
you know,
of it.
that's his thing.
Right. I mean, there's obviously a character written, but I think it was more of a traditional kind of schmoozer guy, and I think he just kind of went off.
See, and that makes me think that he's a little weirdo
He's definitely a
and
weirdo.
a kook.
Yeah, he's definitely a weirdo and a kook.
That's
He
so
is a weirdo
fun.
and a kook.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But so they're back in the house now. Now they have some tips and tricks. Their first move is let's use the sheets.
Hilarious.
Lydia is in her room. She hears the
She's
ghost
like, guys,
trying
stop
to
fucking.
haunt her parents. Right? She thinks it's them fucking, but it's in fact the ghost. She can hear them, and they're like, "You can see us."
And she's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
myself am strange and unusual.
Ugh.
A line that
Yeah.
like made all our hearts grow 3 sizes when we saw this as children.
And now I'm like, get over it.
She's teamed up with the ghost, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I hate my parents too. Like, I'll help you with this
Yeah.
fucking thing." So now they're like united in trying to make this this thing happen, but nothing's totally working.
No.
And that's another great thing about Delia that I love is like, she ain't scared of no ghosts.
No.
Like, they're like going up to the attic and she's like, okay, ghosts.
Yeah,
come
she
out.
sees them as like sort of a nuisance, like,
Yeah.
you know, a bug infestation. Jeffrey Jones basically sees them as like a marketing opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
this comes later because Lydia
Not
is
that
like
much
telling
later.
them
It's not a
about
long
the
movie.
ghost stuff, and they're like, "You're ridiculous. What are you
Right.
talking about?"
Right.
Showing them the photos. I can't believe you cut holes in the sheets, like
Right,
all
right,
this sort of stuff. And then they're like, "We need to put on a big show to like really make our mark."
Also,
And-
I do think that Charles is like not a bad dad. Just
No,
saying.
no,
We'll
not
say.
at all.
he's a little detached.
I think he's like fine.
But I also
There are
think
worse
like,
dads.
the commentary on him is so pointed where it's like, here's this guy who is like very successful as like a developer, right?
Oh, that
And
scene's
then
so
it's
funny
like-
where he looks and he's like, bad roof or good
Right.
parking.
Right.
Yeah.
He like immediately is like, I'm out. I just want to be relaxed. I want to be in the country. I want to be away from my career. And he
Just
can't.
sits in a chair and
He's
like rocks.
fetishizing calm, but he actually
Yeah.
cannot be
The
calm.
second he
Right.
picks up binoculars, he's looking at the town. He's seeing the value,
Right,
how you
right,
could
right,
develop
right.
it. Like, he can't be calm. There are too many fucking subscription flyers in the
Yeah.
magazine.
Right. That's a funny scene.
Yes.
But they have the dinner party.
Right.
Come
So they
on.
don't believe the ghost thing that
Sure.
Lydia keeps on going on and on about, which is when Delia says my favorite line reading in the entire film. Kids, I love them. Which that's the Oscar
Genuinely.
alone. Yeah.
She's my Oscar winner.
Yeah. That's a really cool opinion.
I for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if Winona is like a supporting or lead character, but to me, I'm nominating her for Heathers anyway. So like she's
Sure.
in lead over
Sure.
there. I don't know.
And then Keaton gets Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I mean, for
100%.
me-
I have a ballot
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
1988. Don't
That's
think I
awesome.
don't.
Yeah.
I do.
No, I mean, I see that line reading, but I raise you, post dinner or post dance, Catherine O'Hara is like, who has more fun than us? It's so fucking funny.
She is
so
best.
so good.
She's got Home Alone kind of around the corner. Like
Yeah.
she's ruling the school.
Yeah, she becomes like a big studio comedy star.
Yeah.
Like without being a leading lady, unfairly never gets her shot at being a leading lady.
Yeah.
She becomes like a big, second or third lead actor.
And then I'm there being like, Janice,
Right.
my
Well,
stepmom,
in
be
this-
her for Halloween.
She's 34 in this movie.
Yeah.
Right. So she, I guess, at CTV, like, she took a while to break into movies. I
Yeah, and
guess.
she always she got hired on SNL and was there for a week and was like, I don't like this environment and quit.
Which is
Right.
so sick.
She always was kind of like, I only work with people I like.
I do my shit. Right.
Right. She marries Bo Welch after this movie.
Cute.
Who's
That
the
is
production
amazing.
designer of this film, who's like responsible for a lot of the formation of the
He's
Burton aesthetic.
A genius. Burton wanted Anton First, who
Yeah.
he will work with on Batman.
Yeah.
But I guess Anton First was busy with something.
Yes.
He was committed to
literally.
like another thing, I think.
Yeah. But Bo Welch, the director of Cat in the Hat, obviously, we stand Bo Welch. We stand for legend.
Directed, I believe, maybe 2 episodes of the Warburton Tech.
Let's see. Yes,
But
2 episodes.
Thank you. Works with Sonnenfeld.
Okay. Are you on
Men
the
in
Tick?
Black. I don't know. The rumor.
Yeah, he works on Men in Black. I mean, he's amazing. He's directed some of those series of unfortunate events, which is another Sonnenfeld project,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Do we like that show?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
I
it
watched
either.
it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, TV's for loser.
But doesn't even get nominated for an Oscar, which is like
Insane.
absurd.
Insane.
It wins 1 Oscar.
For costume?
Makeup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is funny.
Certainly a deserved win.
yeah. I mean, this should have gotten every score,
This should have like 10
art
nominations.
direction, costume, 2
It's got a
supporting
stacked
noms.
cast. It
Yeah.
looks amazing. It's got a great score.
And it was a very popular
well
film at the
written.
time. It was
Yeah.
well received, but I think
It came out in March, which probably it had faded a bit, or April 1st, a bit.
Yeah.
It had probably faded a little bit.
But I think, this movie was sort of a mini phenomenon because it was like, here's this fully realized vision that came out of nowhere.
Right.
Like, here's this like perfect formed object that feels like it's tapping into all these things that were sort of like unspoken in the culture. Him sort of meshing together all these different elements of pop culture and artistic styles and everything.
Right.
And this is the scene where like the whole thing crystallizes and becomes sublime, and you're just like, this is the most exciting comedy director alive.
Yeah.
Is the
so
Deo
good.
sequence?
Yeah.
Where
it
you're
really
just like,
is.
how do you
feel about it? It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Go
I
on.
mean, yeah.
Who would think to do this?
That's the thing. Where you just go like, how do you have this idea?
Yeah, it's such a weird, even just like a sample.
Like,
Yeah.
hold up, guys. You know that Banana Boat song from the 50s?
Right.
Harry Belafonte, right?
Right, you're like winding up that now they're going to have their biggest scare, and then the scare is they lip sync a very well choreographed number.
And
Yep.
for me, it's like
And
I'm a
Dick
dancer.
Cavett is there.
Yeah,
you
Dick
know?
Cavett, Robert Goulet,
Yeah.
like this is his like child of TV stuff where he's like
Right.
bringing in all these guys he grew up on, in the way he wishes Sammy Davis Jr. was in the movie.
I think this scene is what like cements it as like, oh, this is a movie for me because like I will love anything with any dance sequence in
Yeah.
it. So it's like the fact that it's already hot and funny and cool to look at and blah blah, and then we're doing a little dance. Okay,
Great dance.
Yes.
who made this dream movie
And
for
then-
young Rebecca?
And then the shrimp turns into demon hands.
Right.
and shrimpies do look like little demons.
They do.
And everyone in this scene
Had
is
some
doing
shrimp Alfredo the other day.
such a
Hell
good
yeah.
performance of being super possessed,
Hell yeah. My new catchphrase.
Yeah.
dancing excitedly, and with their eyes looking terrified about what's going on. Like
Oh.
they can't stop it.
Well, like the best that always made me laugh so much and is one of those like images that's ingrained in my brain is now, okay, pedophile, yes.
Yes.
But when he goes,
Black tarantula.
yeah,
Yes.
tarantula.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing.
So funny.
And like Otho turning the ice bucket into like
Yeah.
a drum.
I want to watch it right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though I watched this movie the other day
Yeah.
and like have seen it several times.
So
there's-
I want to watch the sequence you're describing.
There's like the hip, cynical sort of like art scene woman with the big bow in her hair.
And she looks so good. She looks so
Who's
cool.
like she's like a famous
swaying.
costume designer.
Adele Lutz.
Yeah, Adele
Yeah.
Lutz, right.
who was my friend's mom growing up. She was not.
Did she stop being
An
your friend's mom
actress.
later? Yeah, no, she's not.
I haven't known.
She's like a costume designer.
yeah,
She's got a great look.
but
yeah.
I
And
like
she can move.
knew my friend's mom. She lived in the neighborhood. I'd go over their house after school all the time. And then I saw this movie when I was like 8 or 9 and was like, this is the best fucking thing. And then when my friend's mom shows up, I was like, how did nobody tell me this whole time? And my parents were like, you didn't even know this movie existed. We weren't hiding anything
You
from
sound like a calm child.
I was
That's
a very
what's
calm
important.
child.
Yes.
Mother!
you. It's just part of that best scene.
All of those looks too, all of the costume, like for the women, I mean, specifically, are really great. I mean, you've got that weird spandexy, like gold on the blonde lady. What's her fucking name? Can't remember. But it's like
yes.
a sort of 2-piece thing. Like, I don't know. It's so good.
I think her name is what is it? Is it? I don't remember. There's
She's
a
got-
bunch. I'm looking at the actress.
She's just very bronzed, the
Yes.
whole thing. It's all great.
She's the one who says like, I didn't even know I could do the calypso
Yes,
or whatever.
exactly.
Susan Kellerman.
Now, the reason everyone came over for dinner is that Jeffrey Jones has called them and said, like, I can develop this town. They don't know what
Yeah.
they're sitting on.
Right.
So he's
Very
trying to
excited.
pitch him on this thing, and they're like, Charles, just relax, be retired. We don't care about any of this.
Right.
But then once
They were just looking to have some fun.
Yeah.
Right. Once the ghost thing happens, everyone latches onto this as a business idea.
And
Like,
who has
what if
more
this is
fun
like a
than them?
theme park town?
Right.
Yes.
So they send Lydia to like go get the ghosts.
Right.
And of course the ghosts are bummed out because, their awesome thing didn't work.
Right. It didn't scare
Their
them.
performance was too good,
Right.
honestly. It was like, too enjoyable.
So now, desperate times call for desperate measures. They call in the big guy. They say the name 3 times.
Sure.
They get shrunk down to the graveyard of their model.
Yep.
And Keaton just throws straight heat for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he does.
He just throws straight heat. It's
Yeah.
banger after banger after banger. Costume
Welcome
change. Costume
Kmart
change.
shoppers.
Grope after grope.
So, yeah.
I love
He just wants to touch an ass.
Yes.
He's like, constantly.
and the bit when he changes into the exact version of what Adam Maitland is wearing and acts like they're
Yes.
bros.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah.
And he keeps on trying to like end every note with like right, and then kiss Gina Davis.
He's got this physicality to him where I feel like it's just his body is so his butt is kind of
His butt's always
Right.
out.
and he's
And the
kind of like
distended belly.
He's like-
yeah.
He moves like an animated character in the way that like in a Looney Tune you can have Bugs Bunny be in one extreme position,
Sure.
and then immediately switch to a different position
And
without
he
the
somehow
movement in
can do
between.
that as a person.
And he moves so fast that he's just like going from like one extreme pose to another.
And he does it with such charisma. Truly, he's so charming.
Yeah.
He's so charming.
and it looks like he doesn't have bones, kind of.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like he's just like a fucking
Simultaneously,
glob of
he
a
doesn't have
person.
bones and he has too many bones. Like it's somehow like he's bending only in the wrong places.
Well, one of my favorite like physical things from him is when he's distracted by the Inferno room, the strip club, and he's like,
He does his weird crotch dance.
He dances.
Yeah.
Literally, that dance to the strip club makes
So
me laugh so hard, and I'm like, he's horny, he's ready to go.
They unleash him. He turns into an amazing stop motion snake man.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a snake.
Yep.
He doesn't
And-
say that.
and
That's
starts-
cool and scary.
Yeah, terrorizing everybody. They send him back. They realize that they can't control him. He's too much.
I know. It
too
all
dangerous.
happens so fast.
It
Yes.
does.
It doesn't work out immediately.
No,
Right.
no. So they've tried it on their own. The people find it too entertaining.
Right.
They've tried letting
Mr. B.
juice go on the loose.
Sure.
The goose with the moose,
Yes.
Sure. All true.
babe. I also just love that he calls everyone babe a lot.
Sure.
It's cool.
So
It's
now
hot.
That's
that
very sexy.
I want to start doing that. Could that be my new thing? Where I'm like, hey, babe, does it work? No.
I think that you
Okay,
could pull it off. I
cool.
think there's a lot of people who
Okay.
cannot pull that off.
David seems to not think I can pull it off.
I
He
think
thinks it's
you
bad,
can pull it off.
babe.
I think you can pull it off.
Yeah.
I think you
All right,
can.
babe.
Will
You can
and
pull a lot
are
of stuff
pulling
off.
it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, babe.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Actually, physically upsetting. I had a bad visceral reaction to you saying that, and I love you, Ben.
Okay.
But the goose himself is vanquished by Juno.
Right.
They get sent back, and she's like, "What did I fucking tell you guys?"
Yeah.
She's mad.
Furious.
Right.
She's like, you.
They're breaking all the rules.
I forgot like a couple of my favorite visual gags in the movie. I love the guy in the office who's been flattened by the truck,
So funny.
Yes.
who's on the conveyor belt going through the slats in
What
the
is he,
wall.
what's his joke? And he's like, how you doing? Fine, whatever. Like, I feel a little flat myself. Ah! Yeah.
And
That's like Burton defined. Like
Right.
that
Yeah.
he will go that far to make that lame a joke.
yes.
Yeah.
You
it's
know what I
really
mean?
not-
That is what Tim Burton's deal is.
Right, that level of like this complicated makeup
Right.
effect.
For like a joke that like would
Like, is Tim
be
Burton
on like
funny
the Lawrence Welk show or
Right.
something.
or
right.
lame? Like, I can't tell.
Right.
Right,
It's
that's like
both.
it's his weird combination of like growing up on like weird 70s variety shows and also growing up on like Val Lewton horror movies. And he puts them all in the same zone at the same time. But Juno is now like so stressed out because she's got to deal with these fucking football players who
So
don't know they're
funny.
dead.
They rule.
Keep on calling her coach.
They
That's
rule.
so cute to me. I
They're
always
so
thought
cute.
that was really cute. Like, Coach, where's the bathroom?
There's that amazing gag where like through her window there's like the blacklight waiting room of people watching them. It looks like they're like the audience of a movie theater. And at first you think they're a still photo, but she just makes it clear to them like this cannot be. You cannot.
Work harder.
Yes.
Oh,
And
because then is that when he steals the book, Otho? Is that when he steals? Does
yes,
he steal the book?
yes,
Yes,
because they're
yes.
gone. Lydia
Like a little snake.
is so despondent that she decides that she's going to kill herself because she likes them. She hates her parents.
Yeah.
She doesn't get that. Means that's going to doom her to a life of like municipal work.
Right. Yes.
And because the guy who is the title of the movie.
All right, yeah.
Because the guy, that was just a little peek into what the musical's gonna sound like. Because he is like, he's there like tanning, and he warns her, right? Doesn't he say like, hey, don't?
Right.
Yeah.
Which means, actually, good guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one good message.
Just that's like the big weight.
Listen, my standards are so low. I'm just like, who will date me? Someone who tells me not to commit suicide? Nice.
Yeah.
Right, because they don't re-summon him until they do the...
she resummons.
No, I'm saying until Otho is doing the
correct
supposed.
Yes.
He's been vanquished.
Seance.
Otho has gotten the book. They've broken in. They found the model
Because he was a paranormal expert at some point in his life.
Lydia's despondent, and they come out with their scary heads.
Right,
We've worked harder. Another amazing like Burton visual.
Very frightening. He loves his conical, his sort of dog shape.
Yeah.
That weird
The
Frankenweenie
pointy
dog
nose
shape.
thing.
When he does interviews now, he talks about how he can't watch this or Pee-wee because the stop motion effects look so hokey. And what was incredible...
It's a huge bummer that you just told me that.
It's the biggest bummer in the world.
That explains everything that is bad about him.
Right.
Right.
Because you watch this and you're like, he's not trying to make things look realistic. He's creating his own visual style.
Right. Yeah,
and
it's
then
like a
he
language.
looks at it and he's like, this is a bad execution of what I wanted to be doing because of the limitations of the technology. And it's like, he should still be doing stop motion in live action movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to tell the guy how to live his life, and maybe he sees and he's like, God, I wish I had CGI back then, but I'm glad he didn't.
But the weird herky-jerky quality to like when they're transforming their faces and
So
sticking their
good.
hands in their skulls and everything, it like adds comedy to it.
Of course.
It's also just like what the whole thing, that tactile thing, like it's the same things that burn in my memory of like them digging into like the cardboard, like to get to, all of these very
The AstroTurf.
textural things.
Yes.
Is
it's
so
a very
cool.
textural movie.
Yeah.
But
Also, wait, the
sculptures.
the face that he makes when
thinks
Alec
he's
Baldwin
put it back, but
pushes
he's
his
still got
face.
the Cyrano nose.
No, when they go in and he has his glasses and he uses his fingers with the eyes
that's
to
so
look
good.
through the glasses to
Yes.
look at her. It's
That's
so funny.
very funny, especially
So
since he has
good.
too many eyes.
Yeah.
I also love that when he's talking with his transformed face, the mouth sort of like flaps like a puppet.
Right.
And when she's talking with her wide open mouth, the mouth
Like-
stays wide open, but the tongue just sort of moves a little bit. It like
So
curls and
creepy.
uncurls. But they decide like maybe it's better if we all just find a way to live together peacefully. They go, they stop Lydia from killing herself. They tell her like, please, we would
chill
give
out.
anything to be alive. Don't make a mistake you'll regret for centuries. We're going to all work together. We're going to come to some sort of agreement. What they don't realize is the Dietzes have become craven. They want to commercialize the Maitlands, make them their dancing monkeys.
Yeah.
Listen, they're working.
So they hold what they think is a seance, but it's really like an exorcism or something, right? Like it's
Right.
gonna
They think they're
destroy
bringing them to
them.
life, but
Right.
it makes them crumble in their wedding clothes.
You're
which is, like,
killing
really-
them.
Yeah.
They're already dead.
And this
That scene
effect-
is so sad.
It is sad.
Like Gina turning into a skeleton.
And them
A
just
Crumbling
sort of
little
like
hands.
lovingly like
Mhm.
holding each other and accepting their fate.
Yeah.
They at least get to die again together.
Sure.
Even Delia at that point is like, okay, stop.
Yeah, this is too much. And Otho himself is also like, I don't know how to stop.
Yeah,
this.
Otho
Like,
quickly is like, I don't know what I'm doing. And,
Yeah.
right, it's out of
This has
it's out
got
of
to
his
And this is
control.
one of those things where you think like in a practical era, this one scene must have taken like 8 days to shoot. Because every time they cut back to the Maitlands and they're more decayed, that's an entirely different makeup application.
Right. God.
You
You're
know?
right.
Like that's like a different 4-hour makeup application.
Just for them to gaze at each other like,
Right. It's like the American Werewolf in London transformation where it's like each of those shots took like 8 hours to set up.
Jesus.
that stresses me out. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Put me in a movie.
That's
But-
why Tim Burton's like
But Lydia is
fuck
like,
it.
Hail Mary pass.
CGI Dumbo. I don't know.
Hail Mary pass, there's only one way I know how to say
You
it.
got to bring him in.
You got to bring in the goose.
Yeah.
And one of the weirdest qualities of this movie is that his name is spelled Betelgeuse.
See, we
Like the
didn't,
star.
we
That's
didn't
the name of the star.
stipulate if we could say Beetlejuice.
I think we can.
Okay.
Sure. We
There
can do
you
whatever
go.
we want.
You can say
That's
it
true.
3 times. Rebecca, you have one.
These.
But the movie is titled after the weird phonetic way that he tries to get Lydia to guess his name.
Yeah.
Which then becomes like how the name is written up in history.
And then the funniest thing where he's like, look at that, and then there's the Beetle. He's like, hey, how are you? That guy is hilarious.
But also all that like Beetle drink,
Beetle breakfast.
You idiot, Lydia. Come on.
You need some steaks. You need some tension here. You know.
I understand.
Right, but this is like here he's coming in with his BDE, like his big dick energy, his BJE, right?
Sure.
Because from the moment she like comes to the board and he's sitting on the tombstone, he's filing his nails.
Right. He knows
he's got the suit on.
Yeah,
he's ready
he knows
for
he's
action.
got it going on.
He gets her to guess it, and then he does his "It's showtime."
Yeah,
and America is changed forever.
And then you're like, cool. I'm wet.
Right. Theme ramps up. Here he is as a carnival barker.
Sure.
Yes. Like an amazing, amazing visual. Him slowly being raised, like lit from underneath. All the smoke in the room. His inflating arms.
Yeah, that's
He
good.
does his whole thing. And then he's out of the suit.
Right. Because he's in that prom suit for the wedding.
Right. He says like
Which
he's
is cute.
in the suit
cute.
for that
He changed
conversation.
I like
for
the suit
her.
better, but you're right. You're saying like that's the extent of the stripy suit.
Right. He's in the suit.
He just looks so damn
Getting
good
Lydia
in
to
it.
guess
Oh my
it.
God.
Then he's in a variation of the suit when he's in his carnival barker mode with like his spinning like top head. And then he's back in the suit for half a second when he has his line where he's like, and that's why I don't do 2 shows a night anymore. I can't do it.
Oh, also when he's doing when it's coming up the carnival thing, the top of it has the little Jack Skellington
Little
guy.
early Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Little face.
Yeah.
But he, of course, had made the deal with Lydia. He'd help her
They get
meet a
married.
bride.
And I was like, she's dumb for not liking this.
But then he immediately changes into his beautiful prom tux.
Yep.
To make her an honest woman.
Yep.
The fireplace turns into like weird Caligari door.
Yeah, there's the weird minister creature.
This also is why whenever I would play...
Is that Tony Cox?
It is.
Yeah,
Correct. Tony Cox of Bad Santa fame is the minister.
Bad Santa, he's a naughty guy.
He's a real bad Santa.
He's real bad.
No, when I would play MASH as a small child, I would always be like, and my wedding dress is going to be red because of this, because her dress is red.
I mean, she looks terrific.
They're
It's a great
incredible
dress.
outfits.
Yeah.
But I like this is now like the dramatic tension of the movie is how do we stop the wedding?
Just ride a snake and eat him.
Yeah, very easy.
Yeah.
Easy, right. His whole process of like stopping them from saying the name, the bit with the metal plate on her face,
Oh,
the
so
zipper.
I love the metal plate.
Yes.
That's my
Play-Doh,
favorite.
yeah. And she's like, trying to pry it off.
Baldwin driving the car around and trying to like
Yeah.
hit his feet. Like all that shit is great until Barbara gets vanished and rides in on a sandworm and saves the day.
And then she's the
Of course, as we all knew would.
prequel to Queen of Dragons.
Yes.
I see.
She is the
Do you
original.
see?
Becca sort of
Game of
tilted her
Thrones.
head and gave me a look like, I did it. Like,
Yeah.
Did
you know?
And I
almost
was
say,
like, oh, she means Game of
Yeah.
Thrones?
To all the bros out there, I've watched Game of Thrones.
Wow.
So I'm sexually viable.
and to all the bros out there, I have still yet to ever watch an episode of Game of Thrones.
I'm bored, honestly, but let's get it over with.
No, but this, I mean, it's fucking great.
And also
crazy imaginative
feminism.
stuff.
Feminism, because she saves the day. Duh.
Yes.
Sure.
The sandworm
Sisters
is
doing it
also
for
a woman.
themselves.
Yeah, Sandworm
The
is
sandworm
definitely
is a woman, obviously.
Sandworm is definitely a woman.
She like has lipstick on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
love that
My second favorite sequence is right after this. What do you love?
Delia sculptures that have been so like
she doesn't want to be killed by her art.
right
Yeah.
become yes
Become
What
malevolent.
did she
Because they
say
need the
earlier in the
witnesses.
movie? She's like, my art is dangerous. Me too. My art is also dangerous.
Yep.
But I like that once like the day is saved, everyone can see everyone now. There's that moment where they all kind of look at each other.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we can maybe make this work.
Right.
And then you cut ahead to the best domestic setup in history.
He's reading the book, how to, what is it? A guide to like co-parenting with dead people. I don't know
Right,
what it is, but it's something like
Delia
that.
frightens him with the sculpture.
So funny.
But
She's on the cover of Art in America. She
Yes.
got it. She did it.
She did it.
As she should.
and the Maitlands are like her tutors.
Right. She got an A in math.
Yeah, so she gets to do
She
a little
gets to fly and
elefante.
I got an
dance
A.
around and jump in the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love all this.
It's
I don't know.
it's just so much
And
fun. Yeah.
Beetlejuice. I said Beetlejuice.
I know. I was just reaching for my book. I'm getting close.
Head gets shrunk.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Just a little goose for the road. They give you just a little goose for the road in the waiting room. I loved just
He grabs the leg.
Grabs the leg of the cut in
One
half
last
magician's
horniness
assistant.
for you.
Yeah.
But also him thinking that he can pull off the bait and
It's
switch with
so
the numbers.
Right.
Just know that shot of just like the guy's hand just still in that position. He just throws
He doesn't even
top
put
of
it in
it.
his head. He just sort of tosses it towards
Fuck
him.
it.
Yep.
I laughed so hard.
And then he immediately goes like, let me see where update next. Like immediately calls attention to
He's
it.
funny.
He's
so
so funny. I want to date him.
And then he gets his nice little Franken head.
And he's like, wait, this is going to be a good look for me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They never made a sequel.
They had a sequel premise. They
Burton
asked Burton if he
Beetlejuice.
wanted to do one. He said, I would love to. Here's the premise.
Goes,
Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian.
which I want to watch
Which he
that
just thinks
so
is,
bad.
He just thinks is funny.
He
I
said,
think so too.
he said, like, I've set up this aesthetic. What's the weirdest thing I could add to the universe in contrast? And he was like, the absolute opposite of German expressionist horror films is Frankie Valley beach movies.
I mean,
Right,
imagine
right.
him in a Hawaiian shirt. Cute.
it was somehow Beetlejuice had to like, Jesus Christ. That's the character once. The man himself, the ghost with the most, had to like scare off developers in order to save the beach or something.
That's funny.
It was like a beach blanket bingo thing.
Oh my God. Can you imagine it though? Like visually, it's like Scooby-Doo.
It would have been unbelievable. But also no one ever cracked
Ghost
it.
Island.
Yeah.
It
Oh.
will never get made because it's owned by the Geffen Film Company.
Uh-huh.
And then more recently, Warner Brothers hired Seth Grahame-Smith, writer of Dark Shadows and other things.
And both Burton and Keaton have said that they would like to do it if they got the script that worked. They've been talking about it.
Winona has also said, like, I'm down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
And Keaton's obviously like a viable movie star again now.
I feel like
Sort of.
Beetle.
Hey. Yes.
Counterpoint, yes.
Counterpoint? Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the only times that I've like tangibly that I'm like I'm so attracted to Michael Keaton is like this movie and Spotlight. Like that's where it goes.
Not
guys.
Bruce Wayne at all?
Other guys, though.
The
So good, not other guys.
in Spotlight, he's
apron.
like I got a job, and in Beetlejuice, he's like I got a job.
He does have a job in
You know?
Spotlight.
But
I
the
just
thing is with the Beetlejuice like
added
sequel
another tally for
though.
Rebecca.
Okay, that's the only
and
time.
There you go.
I think we've all said it like 50 times now.
Not me. I got a clean slate.
All right,
No. But
congratulations.
I don't know how they do a sequel without him like being like a predator
That's
and
the
trying to
problem.
make it, you know.
And this is what I've heard about the musical, and especially in a post-animated zone. It's like the problem is if you actually continue the story and play up how creepy it is,
yeah.
it's upsetting. But apparently the musical has kind of sanitized him, where you're like, wait, is he supposed to be a threat?
I want him to be horny.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, you can't quite
No.
do the old
Oh.
character. Let's
Yeah.
play the box office game.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that Warner Brothers watches this movie and goes like, oh, that's who should make Batman.
Wait, can I
It
just tell
is.
you?
Especially because he's made two pure
I think
comedies
he was
at this point.
already on the Batman train by the time this movie. I don't think it had even come out yet.
They were so happy with the
Yeah.
results. Yeah, it's crazy. It's totally nuts.
Becca, what do you do?
I just want to tell you my last note that I have on here. It's that Beetlejuice is confident. That's what it is.
It's big dick energy.
It's that he's confident.
got real big
He's a
dick.
confident boy.
I aspire.
Which is why the movie opened number one on April 1st, 1988.
Numero uno.
Are you sure
$8
it did, or was that,
million.
or were they kidding when they opened on
Damn.
April 1st?
Oh, it's a good point.
Oh my God. That was
Um,
funny.
How do I know this entire box office game isn't some goof?
Can you tell me the domestic gross of BJ?
80?
73.
Yeah.
Adjusted, that's 163.
Yeah, big hit.
Number one. Number two,
What did it
Is-
open with?
8 million.
Solid opening.
A film from a very big director based on a play starring a cute actor of the 80s.
I like those.
Cute. So are they young?
Yeah.
A child?
No, like a young man.
Starring a young man who's cute. It's based on a play. It was the first time the play had been adapted for the screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Based on a very famous play.
A very famous play. Was it a recent play at that time, or was it a classic play that was finally making it to the big screen?
That is a good question that I will answer for you
I want to know who this cute boy is.
soon. And the answer's coming. It had premiered on Broadway 3 years earlier. So it was a new play.
New play. Cute boy. very famous director.
It's also
Not a
the
smooch.
it's the it's true. It's the second play in a trilogy.
Is it a Neil Simon?
Correct.
Is it Biloxi
Biloxi Blues, and who's the star?
That cutie Matty Broderick.
And who's the director?
Mike Nichols?
Correct.
Yeah.
We love Mike Nichols.
Sure. Biloxi
we
Blues.
stand Mike Nichols in this.
We
My
stand a
mom does.
legend.
Shout out my mom.
Yeah, Biloxi Blues. Kind of a hit.
Yeah, kind of a hit.
He's got, as Ben says, he's got a big
kiss on the cheek.
kiss on the cheek.
Right.
Brag.
Number 3, another adaptation of a seminal 80s work, a novel.
Big 80s novel.
Starring another cute boy of the 80s.
It's not Less Than Zero, is it?
No, but you're sort of in the zone.
Bright Lights, Big City?
Bingo.
Mikey J.
Bingo. Mickey J.
I'd
Fox,
say
directed
that's
by James Bridges.
What, like New York is like big lights.
Oh, yeah. That movie
Bright
is
Lights.
rough.
Yeah.
But he was on this run. Like, people forget that, like, the 4 or 5 Michael J. Fox movies after Back to the Future all were big hits.
Mm-hmm.
The Secret of My Success did really well, a movie that no one will ever watch ever again.
What if I watch it tonight?
Well,
Go ahead.
then
I will.
you have called my bluff.
Number 4 is a reissue of an animated film.
A Disney picture?
Yes.
Oh, we got so excited.
Here's 1988.
This animated film at this point, let's see. When I'm trying to find when it's like original.
Yeah, that would help me. Is it a princess picture?
This animated film is 7 years old, not a princess.
It's not a princess picture. It's only 7 years old.
But we're still in the sort of the nascent VHS era, so you'd still bring your movie back in theaters.
Right. So this isn't. It's only 7 years old. It's an 80s
The gears
Disney
are
film.
turning.
So one of the ones that wasn't much beloved, Fox and the Hound,
Correct.
which
Right in one.
Tim Burton worked on as an
Freakily.
animator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5
Mhm.
is a film that I'm not familiar with, so let's look it up. It's an apocalyptic drama
I like those.
starring Demi Moore.
Apocalyptic drama starring Demi Moore. You've
Correct.
never heard of it before?
I don't know this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the title of this movie?
Michael Biehn is in it. Jürgen Prochnow plays Jesus of Nazareth
Come on,
himself.
Jürgen.
What?
It's called The Seventh Sign.
Yeah, never heard of it.
It's a film.
Okay.
Don't you tell me otherwise. It made $18 million at the domestic box office. We've also got Johnny Be Good
You better.
with Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Good Morning Vietnam.
Big hit.
Massive hit. That's like in its
Humongous,
like
yeah.
16th week or whatever.
Yeah.
We got Police Academy 5 Assignment.
Miami Beach.
Correct.
They're pointing.
Your
Hello,
origin story.
party in the city where the heat is
No,
on.
Will Smith's still a baby at this point. Not a baby.
Okay, well then, Celia Cruz. That's Cuba.
Just for the listeners, David points at me anytime Police Academy.
Yeah,
movies
there was a
come
lot
out.
of pointing that
Well,
happened.
you have gotten excited in the past when Police Academy was in the box office.
Oh,
It
Cell
went
Rule.
point to
Right.
Ben, then
I pointed
Griffin.
to
point-
Ben about Police Academy,
And then
to Griffin
pointed
to
to-
make the guess,
Yes.
and then to Becca to acknowledge
That
the great
it's-
city of Miami.
It's very
Yeah.
pointy. Yeah.
My God,
I do like to point.
and I love that about you. Continue.
Thank you.
I like your new catchphrase too.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I stole it from you. I didn't so much steal it as you like sort of infected my brain with it.
You're welcome.
Sure.
So I usually like rewatch the movies for this podcast like the night before the day of,
Right.
which you often say is a bad idea because it usually results in me being late because I'm rushing to finish the movie.
Sure. Or maybe like watching the movie on your phone as
Right.
we prep for the episode.
Bad
Yes.
time management. That's only happened one time, and it was when we were recording 2 episodes back to
I
back.
think it happened twice. But
It
it's
only
okay.
happened once.
All
It
right.
only happened once.
All right.
It was for the visit.
Oh my God.
I remember the
He's
visit.
Getting his.
Well, the visit
so
episode
mad.
was where you actually had like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, can you guys hold on for a second? I have to go to the bathroom." No, but like sometimes I have to like, I got a doctor's appointment in the morning, and then we're recording, so I download the movie to my iPad and I watch it in a bagel shop and things like that.
Sure.
But like I watched this movie 2 weeks ago because I couldn't help but watch it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Humblebrag and I, we're just like, "Fuck it, let's watch Beetlejuice right now."
Right.
And
So
the
beautiful.
movie ended, and she just went, "It's perfect."
Yes, that's what I was talking to her about this last
It's a
night.
perfect movie.
And she was acknowledging.
Okay,
Perfect
everyone's
movie.
met Griffin's girlfriend but me.
You will meet her very soon.
Rude.
It's being arranged. The date will be set.
Yes,
We're gonna
I'll
have
set
dinner,
the two
just
of
the
you
two of
up.
us, like in
Well,
Monster in Law.
Gossip.
We don't have much time, but maybe Do you want to put on the record say what you thought about her?
Oh, please. Yes, let's do this.
Me?
segment.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Make
thought
a
she
prediction.
was. Okay. She is literally now the light of my life.
Hell's yeah.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell's
And
yeah.
she's a punk and yet sweet. And that's a hard balance to find.
Maybe.
She was wearing a circle jerk shirt last night.
That's
So
what I
now-
heard.
So now Ben stands her as a punk legend. in
She's
this
cooler
house.
than Griff, which is
Well,
not very
unquestionably.
hard.
Definitely.
Correct.
And I support. And she's going to find, she has a hot brother that she's going to set me up.
Oh,
with.
she does kind of have a hot brother.
Okay.
He's in a
Oh, really?
relationship. Yeah,
They're
All right.
always in relationships, hot brothers.
I know.
Never with me. Anyway.
But she was saying like it's one of those movies where like I remember seeing it for the first time and just feeling like, yep, right, yeah. No, I've like had this movie
Right.
in my head the whole time.
I think I
Yeah.
was pretty aware of it already, I guess, just from the zeitgeist. But I was
but
just
not-
like,
right,
I
there's-
think I was surprised by so much of it because
There's that element I'm saying of the inevitability of like, oh, I know how much it's in the zeitgeist before I watch it for the first time. But it's also just like, I think much in the same way of like Blue Velvet, where like David Lynch like pulled this thing out of
wore it.
like the sort of public consciousness that no one had ever like coalesced into like one coherent statement before. And everyone was like, yeah, this is like, I understand where this is coming from, even though it's unprecedented. This movie, I think, functions the same way, where it's just like, yep, no, right, yes, of course.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where I was thinking about pursuing acting, and I prepared a monologue. I did Dennis Hopper.
Uh-huh.
in Super Mario Brothers.
And that's the funnier thing. So yes,
Okay.
And that's the story.
That's the
No,
story of my life.
did you do the Frank Booth? That's
Yeah,
really
like
cool.
the insane Blue Velvet.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
You probably killed that.
Oh, for sure.
He's a really good actor.
Well, I just
yeah.
more am a psychotic person. So
Do you think Juilliard has Goose on their like wall of
They
alumni?
should. They should.
Do you think he donates?
Scabs.
Okay,
Dry
he donates
scabs.
dry scabs that he comes. Shout out Bechdel Pass.
Yes.
Final thoughts on this. This
I think
movie
we're done.
fucks. It slaps.
Sure.
Slaps.
it eats bugs.
It eats
That's right.
bugs. This was an era where, like, this movie was released. People didn't know it was going to be a thing, and then it became so popular in the cartoon series later and all of it that there was like a lot of merchandise that happened later.
Mm-hmm.
There was an item I was trying to find on eBay to bring into the studio today, and I forgot. But they made a Beetlejuice like mask, not
Okay.
like a Halloween mask, but it was like a toy like plastic mask. You could pretend to be a Beetlejuice, but it had a pump
buy
with
that.
it, so you could squeeze it, and the snakes would fly out of the back of your head.
That's good.
That's pretty cool.
It's really fucking cool. It's called the Beetlejuice Fright Mask.
I think personally, there's therapy that I need to do to,
Oh, I said his name somewhere. Yeah.
break down why this is still the type of suitor I'd like. But that's just something I'm too lazy to do, so I accept it, and I am unashamed, and I think I just want to get into that guy's
Yeah,
head.
no, look, this movie was a sexual awakening for all
Everyone.
of us.
Yeah.
It's a weird foundational text. And
What do you
now
do
it's
through?
right. It's a movie that's like changed the landscape forever. Like all comedy exists in a post.
He made it okay to be horny.
Thank you. That's
For
our
me.
final statement.
Yeah.
A big thanks to Mr. Goose
Tim
for
Burton,
making
the
it
least
okay to be
sexual
horny.
director of all time.
Yeah.
No one's worse with sex than Tim Burton, right?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Rebecca, Classroom Crush.
Yep.
I said
What
it
it
correct.
Where is it?
Where is it? It's
Bring
coming
it back. Okay.
I think Ben's going to be my season premiere. Would that
Oh,
be
that
That episode's
hilarious?
going to be 7 hours long.
Yeah, let's give him because the people want it. I
Sure.
think. Yeah, so you've both been on it.
That's true.
We
Thank
both
you.
know it.
If you
Yeah.
want to be on it again, hey, I live here
Happily.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up
Yeah,
with
welcome
that?
You're a
New
New
York.
Yorker.
Yeah, I'm a real New York gal. I watched Sex in the City, which is hilarious that I did that.
You
but
watched
yes.
it only after you moved here?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
this is a funny bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, please follow Classroom Crush on Twitter and subscribe to Classroom Crush and follow me, Almond Milk Hotel. Just a great
good
Twitter
Classic.
name.
Yes.
Never gonna get old.
No, thank you so much. I mean, you really did like help boost this podcast in the early days.
Truly, it's been my pleasure, and thank you for having me, a lowly, just commenter of the podcast world,
No,
on the show.
no, you're a superstar.
No, I mean I agree. I'm like writing a play. Isn't that funny? Anyways,
Yeah,
if
rules.
I
It's a
do
really
a
good
play and it says Rebecca Bulnes, come to it.
Yes. Beetlejuice the musical coming to Broadway, written by Rebecca Bulnes. And now I'm adding that. That's the only chalk in my musical column. Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe. Thanks to Andrew Gooda for our social media, Lane Montgomery for our theme song, Joe Bowen and Pat Reynolds for our artwork. Go to blankies.red.com for some real nerdy shit. Go to TeePublic for some real nerdy merchandise.
And also next week, David, we have a special episode on the movie Aquaman.
That's right. The DC Extended Universe.
Do you see what I'm doing here?
He's sort of swimming like a fish.
I'm diving in.
Oh, he's diving in. We're going to dive into Aquaman. We're all going to go see it, and then we're going to talk about it. We're all going to see it together, which will be fun.
Yeah, it was always a good time.
I know.
The boys.
And the other thing is that apparently it's great. So,
apparently
it's like silly and fun. So
Good.
hopefully we will find it silly and fun.
Yes.
So next week, Aquaman. That's our last episode of 2018.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a week off.
We'll be dark New Year's week. Yeah. And go ahead.
But we do have a special announcement to make.
I know we do. It's a big deal. We're going to be starting in 2019 introducing a Patreon. That's right. We'll be the first podcast with a Patreon.
No one has ever thought of doing this before.
With two friends that has a Patreon.
Yes.
It's going to be similar to maybe some other podcasts you might follow or like, in which if you chip us some extra cash, $5 a month, you're going to get 3 extra episodes a month. And these are big honking episodes. Then let's talk about it.
Yes.
Let's talk about what we've been doing.
So far, these boys have been having me watch marathon, like 3 movie sitting of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So Griff and I will talk about more next week on Aquaman, just to set this things up. But yes, we're doing franchises, folks. These are the movies that just don't fit into our director format, that we might not be able to cover, that definitely have blank check all over them, that have been made for crazy amounts of money and do all kinds of weird things. We're starting with the Marvel movies because, we talk about the Marvel movies on this podcast all the time,
and we need more white men to talk about Marvel movies.
And they're commentaries. We sit down on my couch. Ben's there.
Yep.
We flick the movie on and we just talk and talk and talk. It's got kind of the energy of the old Star Wars episodes. It's really like wild and goofy. We've done a bunch of them so far. They're a lot of fun.
They've been so fun. It's kind of like just hanging out with the 2 friends and producer Ben.
So each of those episodes obviously is as long as the movie, if not longer. And then also we'll get 2 of those a month, and we'll toss in another episode a month that could be a mailbag. It could be a review of like a weird movie like What Men Want or something that we can't fit onto the main feed.
Maybe exclusive audio from like a live event.
Yes, like our interview with James Seamus after the Hulk screening, things like that. Again, we're going to talk about this more, but we just wanted to alert you that the Patreon feed is being set up. I think it's going to be in the show description.
Yes.
There'll be a link to it.
We'll have the link
I'm
live
sure we'll tweet
in the
it out.
Show description. Yeah.
Sign up now. And, you won't be charged till January. And January 1st, we're going to post an episode. Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right, Ben?
That's right.
All right.
And lastly,
it's very exciting. And it's a great way to support the show. It's a way for us to pay like Ben and Ange and ourselves for all the like ridiculous work we do on this podcast. It'll be fun. It'll be very interactive. Like you guys are going to be able to like communicate what you want to us.
There's no bits involved.
Oh, there is an absolute ban on bits.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
And then lastly, I just want to let everyone know, maybe I could say this, you know what? Too many announcements. We'll save it for next week.
What the heck was your other announcement?
2019 Sundays at 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The episodes will officially post.
I'll save it for
4 a.m. But we'll talk about this more on Aquaman. We just wanted to give you a heads up. That's what's coming. 2019.
All right, now Griffin, do your stupid thing.
And as always, Beetlejuice.
You like it?
I figured you were right.